na yetimi ede agudi omonsemeba eba be remede ma so onim no no me nsabo yetimu akosise no no mebabo ede apaimu ne koma yede ba no edoso ye papara so ni na mo no ye be na yede eram kama pa etimi ede amami dino ABOU DIABY yebeko amanone na enra after said the Spanish Premier La Liga Clasico no kwede premier on koma odona ene na macha ebobo etimi ede ba ye the latest update no ebe rametimi ede ama what wani chemo Brazil Confederation of the Brazilian football no abomodin confirm se ne Carlo Ancelotti join omo na update no send city here ba fiere aba be din komo se de ebobo so etimi ede ma no ye national under 20 no omo game no ashasi against host nation from Egypt MTN FA Cup no semi-final match a course yo takwa memenda no the course yo takwa ni nyina be rametimi ede ama na afi Ghana orwani HMA ye mrantia mikatu mu no mo konkode no ye the update ne beba ene luta ni o mejana na mu na mabomode de ama no nsem no etimi abantu dia no ene so be join on Fakye TV or join on Facebook or like it, wa share, wa comment na boana ne makoye pa ere ama Fakye TV on YouTube on sunya wa subscribe we ja comment no ho wa bomode na wa share na onu anso no enye bia hwe na ne makoye pa ere ama Habib Mohammed wa ha Ricardo Vaz wa the mind show enso e wa no ye producers no ye wo Eben na so executive producer Gebert Tanichi Saso na Julio Caesar HMC Malik omunyina ere abwaseta mwako Mefi Ayu Philip era brantipa ya success na jeso mo ebo adwuma kama pa adwuma de no ye di rametimi erma ne cameraman ojan camera na chi no eye KB na mze KB de oba na obeye adwuma no na wanya ntoboase abesre because ade na wache ne kakra ti oba no kitana konwa bisa na waba bi gina so no de etwe kama pa akwam si awa ene junior DB ho no na afia Kiola omunyina techi na adwuma de di remedy amantama me na no me koba ya pe quick iramu ewa amano ne adwenche no madabra Clasico no orije ho sene siko ye the MTN FA Cup crop ya Kumasi Asante Kotoko iramu final dia na aka era found 020-754-3637 020-754-3637 020-754-3637 yere ho ya ba ya pe ya kwa manone
This is sports.
Ye kama pa etimi era amantu de so bo like wa share na ne ma de ye kama pa etimi era amasra kase renko efa ma boafo adani de nyina omo ekra ya se eri dwuma de ne ba e ba be ramu so no etimi era bezazo madaroma ere nya ho de ne de ba e ba be ramu de ma na se ne tie asedari bi nko etimi efa ma bash digital satellite maka etimi era chose ne open multi TV decoder enya no nko se ne no obo ho modern ehia DSTV e go TV na pa ni nyina mo na bash digital satellite be hena ya boana ntutu na koye pa etimi area ma ni gise me wo mne se omo na ya jo omo area tuma decoder no wo Ghana bibia ye boana on se etimi aka bi na enu echi no wa ye nhihye pa de amankofo eboa ma na ma koye pa etimi area mo ntine obezo obo modern installation no oye obetimi ane na dinkomo wa kra de ma ni nyina fi ne ho obesia baba be ye etimi area ma nso ato ama decoder na tiko ana decoder won ne ma bi ase bi biano ni nyina obom mode efe ba shobe na wadu dwuma da ma si no de ba ku bi aba nipa be nsia mo ka mo obo ma mo kwa iska kakra bi era mo kora makwa akotwia na ni nyina mo no wahwe edi dwuma boa ama ntoto ye no akoyie kama pa so etimi edi ama wa mu nkomo no ye de eda wona bibia adadi so etimi ra mo obom mode door to door services tin number no me di tudwa fa ne bash digital satellite eni nkomo no mbra e ma be dwuma na fama 0556 287 757 0556 287 757 and 0206 060 174 0206 060-174 na ba shemwa na ne man koye prentimi afama open a oro ni chiemo kumase abrepo no oro odu also open kotoko junction osi shipum owe juma obono eya de boa na ne ma da ye pa etimi era mantiko na ba shemwa na ntutu ende da ye soro etimi enfama meka etimi era cho se ne uye bema na wa hoode no aba form se bema e simple kra ni nyina ne se ni obo modena oro ni achiemo Dawood Heba Hospital na Dawood Heba Hospital doc beboa adina wukodwo no obegia ona so no abodwuma na nema adeda ye pretimi era manya no nko ene wabɔ mɔde di no mienu bi abedwama so a ofa bebi eno ana nkofo edu nkomo na droni di no ye wo Dawood ointment eno echi no ye wo Dawood 360 capsules a ejuma bɔ no ya ade ano edempa Dawood ointment no any 360 capsules no machines a afom no NFD so no agere atumti ho nete onya na agba side effect bia no enya de se no so no ewo meboa na ne ma da ye pa etimiara ma tise nete uyo obi a otise wopum no eyo mre wati so kotojo yo ya sasabru edunya wajonku yo ya usisi yo ya obomode enya Dawood ointment ni bia utimi de sra usisi ne so a na wabomode age Dawood 360 capsules no na wonu bi na abo ma ne ma koye pa etimiara ma nti ba koye ejuma out na ba ko zi ejuma in enuanu mienu enama so onya bi na abomode yusu ebeboa ma ne ma koye pere amamu amuko ejuma den no ora woko na aba be chance a di Dawood 360 na sepono fa Dawood ointment ni bi fastra ho na ade sra ho a obonse ebebo se jama ejuma no wabɔ ne kama pa na ne ma adaye pretimiera ma adro we no omo ntimi nyusu bi no sebi openfo eno na nche no ma me a wo ma akwara no fo na akra unya nufie dumienu a uni akonya so be kona Dawood ni nupa no wakwa akoyisubiri wani chemo wo pharmacy shop bi a ana over the counter herbal shop yaro kwa also pesa winina dro no eno ne samrane e de bono fa Dr. Dawood number no ene ni nkomo na how bia no ene ne nkobe no waboa na weja na so 0244 886437 0244 886437 na 0201 681717 0201 681717 na Dr. Mwa nane mandeda ye pretimi afoma madaroma Jerome ewo amanone ne akodi nkomo kakradia na chase over the weekend classico no etimi ejepene etimi ekoso once again abranti efene Rafinha ejano na so esa bomoden etimi nyago na Gebet mamene classico no uroma na wo check Brazil players a ejomo na so mabomoden etimi ashe goals doropa no yesi ne Rafinha abomodeni abranti a ye friend Ronaldinho nye no nko orwani chema na chese Rivaldo mu nyina no abomodi aba benya goals ne pa eboa mantoto ye no koye kama so no etimi edi emom edi mu nkomo no ewura etimi era mantu join me na ohwa on record Brazil player washe goals doropa ewo classico no eye Vinicius Junior no fiwa ye wo Evaristo ono nso no ehye 6 obo ejuma de mabasa esa ye ejuma etimi de ma Real Madrid ne Luis Ronaldo ono nso ashe 6 o ye ejuma ere ma Real Madrid sambu ejuma ere ma Barca na Giovanni obo ejuma ere ma Barca nko ono no ashe 5 Ronaldinho Barca ono nso ashe 5 Rivaldo Barca wa ashe 5 na Rafinha enso ejamu bu ejuma etimi ere ma Barcelona ne no wa ashe 5 a eboana ne ba adaye kama pa so etimi edi amano tie sa pepe era mun komo no esi etie na still yera so jamu no yese no a ewo Montwork no midfielder friend Frankie Dion ne papa ba eba be romo ebe ball ne nia come game no oba ba be bi so video no any say game ne ko e de pin ye ne mu nkoma na che se de nya de keto akra ni na se papa no na ne nia gie papa se ne ba no nso egia na so a this time no obo ejuma nkakra ebo ama bibia eda di nso ere ma no pare eba be videos a odo na etimi e de ma se eni Travis Scott no na be ke ye ball modia ne signature no na Barca jesi no na egu ne mu ntinra oba ba be game ni bi ebe support o Boama Bibia, a co-year man on Confort Kikasono, and a de lucky charm is as already support or the Babema Bassa, and in your room the Boama Bibia, a co-year man. I gave it Mammy Asine, a band of football, or no Biano, a Wumsa, Nanso Lami Yama, a Baba, the first footballer, in our brantier friend Travis Scott, Abomode, I'll follow on Instagram page, Amani, and Confort Kikaka Senra, game now brantier about a Baba Brennan, Common City Citiano, Utumuza and partner Niaje, a Lami Yama, we papa Namso. Amana ko akako follow na eboa na nhihye na ko yepa etimi edi amana munkomo no edi ewuram kama pere amasto era so jamo Barca so eni edidi nkoma metete se extensions we no eya de because already no medican abobo so etimi eda cho na gebe mame Rafinha na metete se yesi ne Barca fo ne no edi nkomo akọ enimu ye papa yesi ne contract no enche obana waba be extended until 2029 aboa amane makọ yepa etimi eda ma club no na after the game no you also goalkeeper your friend Walter Cheshini na oti Montwerk wa na osu amanko for redeem means to it say omujiri se Cheshini ojiri se the final game obo ere ama Barcelona na yade a ya brenti ho ya no ne no odubeke a goalkeeper we no oni Juventus ende ye no o yes football on to aso bi on holidays and am remark test again e kokonye pra na ye tonsa e friend so mbra e ma mejamu bobo ejuma kakra e fama Barcelona bobo kono boroba Baba Johnny Omono Owe Juma Waye, any near more de Irama, a Chesam part, ne Modoboro, a dear Sweeney and Kakakano, a Boatmanema de Yepa, a Tierma Club, a former Barcelona, and Tiazini, a Barca for the person better as one confirm, say club on our fund 2 years contracts and conje, now on Timia Stende, now on Tramubujma, and Famono for now, on any family Nebeko, no more Aqua could decide in Abua, I might be the other use or at me Eddie Amon Abeki and Anosono, me break it to me at Marseille. Say about air classico na pin perfect Pini Zahavi ebeba nyaba be ramu afternoon komodidi awdona ebetimi akoso awie no ma me confirm ma say sen komono esipo said na no me confirm the ma say Hansi Flick ne contract no obe extended until 2027 no yesi ni inya yesa obana waba beto aso abo ma ne makoye pa etimi era ma Barcelona ntie no ye de aba be rama no edi ye papa na metetete said ne ma deda di na nyambo a Wednesday Real Madrid game against Real Madrid kanoko ekoko eka Barcelona for abomodian La Liga no season 2024-2025 no na cheso maje etimi de show na so na se ekoko koesa Barcelona derby a ebetodwa no Espanyol for bema Barcelona a god of honor amanko for kika kazehe omaye bi dade na zo mugiri so mo no any Barca rivalry no this time round no ebi omonko etimi ankonko ye emfa mo na so ni na mo no yes se niema ankoye amfa Madrid midweek na likely say na beko akwa na aboma bibia akoyera mo Barca confirm Sanema Didadia on July 27th no Orwani Chemo Japan and Patama preseason friendly game back Ebekoso money visa Kobe Boboko no and ebetimi ade abuani once Barcelona enya no donaba ama mejo manaso o cheke niama Didadia na chese the FIFA Club World Cup ebetodwa o US no omo amba binti omo confirm on the 27th no ombobo mo de na friendly game back etimi atodwa a preseason game omo ko akwa abuama bibia adaye pa so etimi edi amomo na yenra mo munua no madu da so na yeni nkomo awie ayeba ababe ram no Real Madrid for confirm say Vinicius Junior enra unsa after the game no lempe yesi prana wenya no confirm say Branti ni prana we prana metete say anra season we no otimi ensign ba emma mejana na so boadwuma emfama club from Real Madrid to check here report no na dawa omo ebo modern confirm say prana ade ano eden kakra enyo no nko Lucas Vasquez ono so de ebo de ba chese nra ono so kokonye pranti ono so reporter ebo de ba chese season no ahwe matches aka no ntimi aba emma beja mo ejuma emfa ma Real Madrid bobo continue Madrid game against Real Mallorca no once already no Rudiger mo epra ama ne David Alaba mo epra na ne Vinicius Junior and Lucas Vasquez sababa be kan mo center backs no na Raul Asensio and anka no gina no ne Oleyon Chouameni abo etimi ere amamo na so no Chouameni so ye suspended a otimi mama me gina game a omo ne Real Mallorca bebo no na metete se coach no ebe sen no consider zenka ne bibia de dia enka Jesus Vallejo na cheso no ne experience player or tinche ankomba emma me ramumbo ejuma emfama club no na so de metete no echeze niaman de dinti no ahwa ne akwada resu e friend Jacob Ramon and a Real Madrid against Real Mallorca no obeba ababe jama bo ejuma eri ama club na ma ne ma da ye pa etimi edi amom weekend big game e call so Estero Darus no Madrid for no small scout no so monko Benfica mo left back e friend Alvaro Carriela so no yenkonkohwe boy no enhwesuru sibo the game no ezanzo mujidi sese nei omenya left back bi obeba ababe bo mo akwara we no ebetimi ababe rama bo ejuma abo ma bibia akoye kama pa nsoro etimi era ma Wednesday na me confirm era ma said the Don Carlo Ancelotti na otwe mu no Brazilian Football Federation be confirm so ba nyaba be join omo ene omo bo ejuma me sign ma date say on the May 26 no the final game obebo no ebe against Real Sociedad after no corner wakwa join Brazil man no ene omo bo ejuma na me confirm era ma say 1 year contract no be sign or the omo World Cup no ko ekokoya ade a Federation no wakonya so be Sunday 1 year aka won watra bo mane ma koye pa etimi era mama we ya CBF no a confirm say Carlo Ancelotti join omo ne omo aba be ejuma na nkomo no kaka ya ne ba ye friend Davide Ancelotti and a report to nature say ebia obe move from ne papa no a join team for ne omo akwa ejuma but asa na no the etete nature say anhwe ne papa ne be ko akwako ramo Brazil patamo etimi ayejuma ebia de ebema na sesane yese gise offer kesie bi ebo giri se no nebeboa ama ne ma koyie pa etimi edi ama no na ebia besesa akwara na dwentie no edi aba betodwa Madrid paying for a confirm se bibia dedadia na tese nenwumre omo di release bi beba release ne fa Carlo Ancelotti wa omo bo modena omo etimi adana se ezanzo omo giri se bema ba be bi wa mama be ni nyina gebe mama ne trophies Real Madrid no 15 major trophies in Madrid on issue no na manager wabo modern agege trophies na etimiara ma club na ano edin pantu we say the city wabo no modern aju UEFA Champions League no wetimi agemiensa the FIFA Club World Cup na Intercontinental Cup no and also wabo no modern etimi agemiensa UEFA Super Cup no wagemiensa Copa del Rey wagemi no La Liga wagemi no Super Copa de España na Chelsea Carlo Ancelotti abomodern etimi agimi no a ebo amane makoye permanent club ni hwi no ono na epin pa eba ne the major trophies na waje dodo ebo amane madaye pa etimi edema Real Madrid na papa cho emu nkomo no na yesi nyambo ochna before so omo ne Real Mallorca bebo Wednesday no opin pa be press conference no ne central for edi nkomo said aye confirm no we didi di nkomo na club no abomodin abede farewell etimi edi amano ntie no edi ababa betodwa ano edi papa nema dedadin na bibia koya enche UEFA Europa League no grand finale no etodwa UEFA for confirm say refia your friend Felix Zoya from Germany no any appointed so mbra emma me jamu no mbo na that game no on beto ayen man ya man de ye pa emfama no appointment ne ba no oro wani chomo the ultimate nankasa on the 31st May Egypt na etimi atodwa e wo Munich in Portugal no so no Inter Milan boboku no eri boboku a ene no je from PSG ne de ko akwakobo ni pimpa your friend Ivan Kovac na just no Romania ni ono so no any appointing a wadi 40 years ombra na UC ono so mra me jamu mbo edwuma mane man koye pa entimi emfa emo ntine yaka pimpa friend Ivan Kovac wansem no na yesen ka pimpa friend Simon Machiniak enankane no obeba nyaba be handle the final no na so Barcelona for no uromo mo report omo de ba no ejeze pimpa no mo game omo ni Inter edi ye ni edwuma no ekokwe na so juwe fafo ni enti no kan bi na ni no Simo Machine Akiyama number Amame Jamo Entimi Ambwejman or Mojase UEFA Champions League when you're not no UEFA Europa League when you're not on impo the Conference League na Omuni say Mwe Hano Krano ye mapping Pano Kwamanenko Enko Kujamo Entimi Ambwejman Tiano Diaba Nyababe Tuja ano Edimpa na Yedin Komo Edifa UEFA Europa League final no hono Gabriel Tenema me training na Tottenham Hotspur urwani chemo ewo the hot way training ground so a ejipini to dwa no pe no na no edempa na o join na hwe ya unze Sergi Reguilon eko kutwa Brennan Johnson ankwankwa eso sheda so okona wetimi akwa kutwa no ye so okobo no so no pae e no kokotia no na o resere ne mesi kwa yezina ma coach friend Ange Postecoglou ni tini ade pa ni ye papa yezanza Johnson one player Ojiriza Konya ne bana odini jinamo zombo ejuma enfama club from Tottenham Hotspur ya na modo ya dia na eso ani ye papa na nso echi no so ejiana na so training no mo ye ne no abranti friend Dijan Kulusevski entimi ama mejamu entry ni na nso mo jiri se preparation no mo ye towards Manchester United game no se ne Kulusevski ama me join ana che big blow eko edi ama Tottenham bobuko no na nso still Ange Postecoglou ene ne mranti no so mo ojiri se kwembi aso no ombabo modern no mo arene na aboa amane ma koyie pa etimi area mo Brentford ma Brantia your friend Joan Wisa era ne no owurama obi podcast no ono ni di nkoma na Mikel Obi bisa na se Chelsea o hwe mo mre bi atwam na o hwe mo no unyi no na mrantie ben na hwe mo a obeka so hwe mo esu mo say na Brantia your friend Joan Wisa ebo mo di etimi ejai.
I didn't have like of course I had like Drogba, Eto'o, Henry, even Joe Cole. I love him.
Wow.
Especially on PS. Honestly, yeah. I didn't have like one to pick except one goalkeeper. I forget his name.
Wow.
He played for Bayern Munich.
Oliver Kahn.
Honestly, I loved him.
Crazy guy.
I don't know. I loved him. He's the only goalkeeper I would say like I loved him.
You have to know he was a goalkeeper when he was young. That's why maybe.
And then you just didn't grow. You are then you said.
He was too small to keep going as well.
Yeah, well, because I was
small, bro.
I was goalkeeper from 8 to 12.
Yeah, but you knew like he was like this, bro.
Yeah,
you couldn't like nothing, bro.
I think I will do much better than you if I was goalkeeper.
I never wanted to be good.
Atiamo ye komana na cheso ro ni chemo obi podcast no so a Joan Wisa ne Brian Mbemo eko kuruwa mo na ne otumu zampa odi nkomo so onyi no na ohwe Drogba ehwe other players na Joko mu nyina no ohwe mo na mo no one player na opena sempa Oliver Kahn na Mbemo e kasampa ono no onyi no e goalkeeper ba no datia pa no nim so be tintin na so ni na no e no jamo bo ejuma bo amane makoye pretime ma Brentford Boboko na mun komo no e di era mu so no etimi e di amara David Famiko Ekoko Romo Arsenal Masue no Victor Gyökeres era metete te say Arsenal for no Alpha Sporting Club de Portugal Zomonje 80 million euros na ne yema inform Gyökeres emma me join o mo nkomodidi no o ma di akwari mu ye papa already no me kind de show Saturday no say Martin Zubimendi ebe join o after no second signing no ebe Victor Gyökeres is as o mjidi so ba eba be join o be boa na ne ma koyi pa etimi edi amom ye Romo no na wa mama Chelsea or home jersey na Konforkika kase 2025-2026 season no ombe modena ometimi edi ayejuma no edi mo ne daso out join ewie na o we live on Fakye TV yes here like he said next season no e jersey we na Chelsea for no ebebo modede home jersey after no na wa mama my way jersey no enti home ne blue na we no enzo ebekọ akweze no white kakra eni ade antie no edi ewram mun komo no ye di ewram kama pa so etimi era master so jamo England no na urima romo Manchester City boboko no omasio omunso na bomode ewie ya next season jersey so mo be yejuma that's 2025-2026 season no ometimi ere aba bontinti no we Manchester City omofana omokala no no mabomode de white no aye designs kama pa Etihad Airways no na unzampa eni edema eboa mantutu ede da yeso no etimi ede Emma club na emunsem no ye di ewura mu so no etimi ede ama na boa na ntutu no ye kama pre timiara ma yenko enkoko romo ili na ye ni honso nkomo kakra esimlan boboko no echese eri omani abre kwembi aso ozo mobo moden na Coppa Italia no omogiri si omona so tu join na ahwe video na Milan boboko no na etu omoto efi mo Milan de omani akọ mu Rome nyambo a Wednesday Coppa Italia final no omani Bologna boboko no ene de babani no na wie ya ili empinfa confirm say refia your friend Maurizio Mariani ono na refia ya appointing zombra ema me jamu boama ne manko ye pa etimi afa mantino Maurizio Mariani na unzi ni odaso e boama ne madadi so no etimi ada mana gebe mame Milan fo no omozo me invite nkofo edidi so iso omombra ema me bo modern to machi nyambo a Wednesday o Rome mpata mana ne manko ye pa emfa mama yesi ili omo tennis star your friend Yannick Sinner eni Milan fo na tonsa friend sombra ema me to machi nyo no nko Novak Djokovic war number 1 ya tonsa friend sombra ema me to machi na afia si ili mpata mono oko mo babi wo ha onim tennis boy ye papa ni dino your friend Yasmin Paulina ono so ya tonsa friend sombra ema me Romana pop star ba ko ha ono so your friend Laura Pausini ya tonsa friend sombra me Romano chino yes politicians out do na Milan for invite omo so mombra entimi ama me support omo na nema ende da ye pre fam omo no chino omo ex players no ebi etise Dida ebi tise Sargino ena afi Ambrosini ebi tise Donadoni ena Christian Panucci omo yine yes Milan for na tonsa from so mombra ema me jamo boama ne mande da ye pa entimi afam na Christian Pulisic ena metetete ziazine abrante no abadwa ni nyina zo join AC Milan boboko no na hwe djuma mo ya yes your one player this season ani edi na chi no eya de dos ye papa ne contract ne beba na we 2027 also no omozo also on pre no honko enko extended ni na so twen ahwe club no say next season no ombebo juice anu echi no players ben no mo de ombeba ababe ram sambasa Omusi ebia Christian Pulisic ebe consider in future no na wa join the team bi ni omako akwakobu ejuma na nema adayi osoro hetimi edia mo mo woni echemo ban na so ya no a meka Jose players ni ko Ibiza over the weekend ye koko Germany a na no edi ye papa na ne training na etimi ye course no woni chemo Sabana Straza ye hu se Jama Musiala asan ababa bi Rome Fred no so a washa se komika preparation we ye ni na no omusi o prepare se niam de dia na chese Nations League you know the final four no beba na no ba be jama bujuma etimi ediama diamond shaft amaniama adeda ye kama so no etimi era mo ne awura musa no yes Paris Saint-Germain mo ni abre buy no mu different your friend Dayo Upamecano onza no contract ne ba na we 2027 amaze buy for ne yes so mo ne no never transfer no mo didi nkomo no mo extend the contract na sa na no o mo extend the contract no and yes Upamecano orwa ni chemo PSG o maso ye o mo si fie ni fie on consider number ema be si akantimi famon anti amete no ejeze boy ni si na nije pa ewo Munich impata monti obepeso no ebetron no wato akoso abonijuma na aboa na ibibia adadi soro etimi edi amare yanko ni nkoko Roma mama so na adani so no eromu entimi fama dia Cristiano Ronaldo ene Alna San no Friday no media update be say Arsenal on person mo extending a contract na so no uniaze obo modena wetimi are team no ni future na izanze coach no no wabon players na no ojiri so mo modemo no wo form ye papa e wozo mu beef ni aba izanze na no dey a Benzema mu ba e ba be Ramo AITR na kakra bi na league no o ma jeri so na so ye say aka free goals pe na Cristiano Ronaldo enya 100 goals area ma bobo kwer from Al-Nassr antine Ronaldo shia na ni abrea na chese record a ono so chase no a ano edi papa na gebe ma me Leo Messi na wie no update free Saudi Arabia eba no chese ne contract with Inter Miami a o extend e no yes say Saudi for ne shichichi ni nyina so ma shase ne ni din komo zankebe ya 2025-2026 no on consider number ema me Ramo the Saudi Pro League nim omujiri so baba be kan Cristiano Ronaldo ho a ebe boa ma league nim ayede na ne ma koyi pre timiere amomo e de ezi ne Saudi for the omo agim omo de offer ewura metimiere de ama Leo Messi say on consider number ema me Johnny omo ne omo so no entimi ambo adwuma na ne ma koyi pa entimi amfa omo na Al Ali still the Asian Champions League no omo je no omo guso de ba pro ni nyina nse ne omo kokura mo the Prince of Saudi Prince Mohammed bin Salman eko present trophy no edemaneze nei ade yenso ye de awura mu nie ye gidi so sha ase ta ye chi ne niama o de boa Saudi football no se na ni munyam hye kese we aba e wo se atwebo no pe pa ye ba eba be present trophy no etimi ede mount no omuro mu koko present ede man e boa ma bibia eda di pre de man na Bruno Fernandes Manchester United on midfielder no metete ti say Hilal for no say sa week we so mbesi akọ na omo ne omo si boy na na mu na akọ akodi nkomo yezo omo convince ne so onje pene no mbra ema me join Hilal boboko no ne omo entimi embo ejuma ede azi week omo di nkomo ri a ombe man na otwe baako so mbra so obeje omatuma na so bepe so beto aso Manchester United no omo mu hu ye romo Hilal omo so ewa bi no yesi ne omo giri se Bruno se no na amfa one player ne profile no eti se Bruno no e abranti e fen Yuli Telemann so bo ejuma etimi edema Aston Villa boboko no omo so e nice midfielder ahu ejuma o ye edema Aston Villa no so no Bruno del na amfa no omo giri so mo enya no so mba ma meru mo bo ejuma etimi emfa mo be bo am tutu no akoye peda mo Kevin De Bruyne me catch us na yesi Liverpool pe no hanamba be catch us enya no Liverpool for no nyoma dwen say omo epen after na me to adwun say Napoli for no so mu ya no so bra ema me dwen no na ye kra say baby ti say no so no do wani chewa na chese na ni ji okọ ekokuram so okọ akosi aka ebeboa abade ma koye pere amo metete na nwure say Saudi for no do mo agim omo giri so no so no we sero sitie na ejuma na obo na omo consider no so bra ema me rom mo league ni ma ebeboa ma bibia akoye pere timira mo store yera so jamo Saudi ono Everton omo midfielder of female impatama ni dino your friend Abdoulaye Dokori era manyana ntie se Al Shabab for no etimi de offer ko na kwakoma Everton na tirie almost season ni endia ebe ya nkomu njintum na ne abranti your friend Abdoulaye Dokori mbra ema me join omo so maka era che Dokori so join omo a na che se yie bia no omo ma ne $4 million no e nkoma ba daba betodwa ano edi no so no ye di erom kama pa so no etimi edi amana fa me ko 6 ala ne hwade esansa no pa me confirm ma se FC Bar abomode agi Swiss League no na ne one player odi omoje ya ye bona ba so pe ex Liverpool Inter Bayern Munich branti e friend Shaqiri ejuma oboe de mo ni goal contribution a odema FC Barcelona no na no edimpa na omo ne omo fans no jo mani no say na feeling it here. Ati anu ye jodo wani HMO Switzerland and Potterma Zedan Shaqiri na uzampa ejuma boni dido ye timi erman tima ye form FC Bar no edin we fie ni fie o ye one play ejuma wa bo etimi erman Switzerland minor ene ejuma baba be no amano ne yade a na no edin boama bibia ekoyi etimi erman agebe ma me Victor Osimhen na me hwa de kakra ni na so Osimhen komo no me confirm etimi erman say na Juve for ezomu ye ready so mo be offer be say 80 million euros ebe ya enka Napoli for no number Emma be journey omo and a Galatasaray for no so an pamede to anim say omo ni boboko a ye form Napoli akasa se boy no omo hia no on permanent basis so bra Emma be dwem fam omo sika no omo betwa ba ko afie di kan no omo atwa bi afie tosomienu and afie de tosomiensa no omo atimi de twa de awie na metetete se Fenerbahce for na frichi akofa Napoli for no so omo engi 75 million euros na be ya omo ni omo engi ntum na dey omo convince boy no na onfi mo Galatasaray boboko nembra ema me join ni omo Fenerbahce ni omo entimi embo edwuma bara nkonfo eka se sa di we de e ya de a na no be den kakra ni nyina nze Osimhen pa efi mo e o Galatasaray aba be Roma Fenerbahce straight de onim rivalry do mo ntem na no de ya so no Galatasaray ne Fenerbahce boy no kra no niama no kokoye no unze Fenerbahce fans no mo koko no e ya de apaye papa na so metetete se no mo di sika room se be ya Napoli for nje na boy nembra ema me join ni omo soro entimi enye ejuma na nema enko ye mfa mama yana dia ze eredi AFCON U20 championship ekoso no and abese 30 minutes no Egypt man no abogana ekabienu a ye entimi mo update no ebebara ndaba be remo entimi era ma sedani binko entimi mfama amuzu p heba mixture amuzu p heba mixture rebi ameka ze uye darling boy na chese ohe na uye baby girl na ohe a ewo zo ma baby chichi eyede na eya kono serete uye oba ewo na nso man bi efenfo eba nso na eba no ya na pampan kakra wo mu pampan na chi no ewo ye ohene wadua ma na yekro edino ne be ma kokohia ma ya na nkofo ye te de no ode na kwakwa ya nko amepacho ode bosome ba ko no Promoting na pe amuzupi and tuano mako nine ne bono so no e ade ofobie papa ebe boa no ba ama bibi achiche aye daya kono na babie ehwam na so no we jaw na so ama ne makoyie pa etimi ede amanye no nko yan darling boys no so na wo se ma ye twede no ho twede no e wo se ma mu ye din na mu be din a e ya amuzupi heba mr na ehwe na asiesio na ne makoyie pera ma ye be ma odwonso na mu apai na nkofo ekikaika zo be wonta afo nya no kre o prostate no na ne ho ahyase eka ya niema bi agugugu ade no odwonso ana mo gediechi odwonso ana mu yoya odwonso a wotese pampan na bana no eden wa na so man bi efu ade no mu ba wa hwe ya dabi no na wo ba benya ha bi se onkonkowo ne de roba bi ba beto be mam na de yi sa ona fi wo asama wo gina na so no e ya muzupi heba mecharo woni chemo pharmacy heba sho bia benya bi atoye maame aya amokodwa no monkora monkokogi nupa ni bi mbo na anya bi bo a obonse hyeyi a eboa na wo so wo gina wo na so honam ya no ne brain nyina ebeyi etimi de fi opedodo na to a amuzu heba clinic oro woni achemo tafo nhyiaye so no amuzu junction ona abomode na wajibi fadok number no o amano ne kra betimi no etimi akasa 0247 776743 0247 776743 0241 988884 0241 988884 na on the dock edin komano aboa na ne makoyi pa etimi era ma ono abusule bobo watch you live from Tepa enyina nsusu pa ya Jakarta Ghana na 20 nkofo asakwa he era bomodin etimi ere to aso teacher watch you live from Doma Mangala Street mi yidize Mangala ene niama na ekoyi ere manabu we gonna take over next season hala madu forever and no a big bell ne do ramnadu abu we will come back stronger next season and still a Madridista until the bones are rotten hala Madrid forever no ya do this and dia wadu ramno kuja samwa I'm watching the show live inside Brekum. MON-FRI and other two. So Mark Snyder Owusu. Good afternoon, Abu Dhabi. I'm Snyder. Watch you live from our crew number 2. Congratulations to my darling club FC Barcelona for winning against Real Madrid yesterday. And happy Mother's Day to Sister Ifia, Linda, Marcos, and her sister Cynthia, Sister Kwa, and her sister Kos. The also Edura Nokwaku did that. Watch you live from Doma Inkro, Doma West in Crown Quanta. So united forever. The audio from General Pilato. I'm watching the show live inside our Suyabo. I'm Yudizora on way energy to Soa Liverpool update, please. I'm Zadona. Eramit me area. I'm a big friend Pon Manson Adakabre Fakye Sport with Abu Dhabi. It's streaming live inside Ahafukuku and a JT Soa. Good afternoon, Fakye Sport. Malik Eskata is watching Ransford Adi. A bad weekend for investors. And please share. And a bomb the Eddie Irama. A Boamana Koye Mano JT. Maton Kawati na nzo bibia oni nya abotrema me edima na ma quick me ba ya pe me bo modern na dia kebia me dia to aso etimi edi amount mu adwenche ne bra in a form of text message on the WhatsApp line 020-754-3637 020-754-3637 ye den ho ye ba ya pe abia for the bana dia ka ye dia to aso dia amount.
This is sports.
tẹ́lẹ̀ fọ̀fọ́. Pólè ni wọ́n tẹ́lẹ̀ yànnà. Káyé bòbò yé yé.
We under Kumasi for Ghana for you, and Romba my party. Yeah, start here. You said now will be message less than 1 year. Now event first event now. This is what you saying I buy and it tells us that Asantemani Kumasamane Ghana manager. So we say thank you. I'm sure say management more they said that correct one now, but we event committee for them say that. The management more
committee na to abama course so amra na make ready enye
some boy abaso ya event we organize na
my ade ba de my no next time we be come here say transit to abama moko as the committee no nipa ba ko a me maintain e maestro maestro de me maintain
because
no
obesa
no say enye obesa
oh
my bi pa yabon abaso from ABOU de ba ni ade ba ni uni ade mo last ade nra
because we've been principled because we've been principled before say
principle
principle is en fan to ha ti o say make sure say won fan to tie ko bibi ni o ka che bibi ni so oni mra so na bia nse o ye strict and I ni pa boni ni we say
me ban tem afi o man for beto ye no sasa sasa no sasa say ya mo adwuma no mai mo adwuma ya
abe ni person o mai approve at 3 months be event
Father's Day dia we
until I say ya ne abe di nkomo o mai approve at 3 months be event boyfriend days na akwa be
Father's Day
ya be I say be boyfriend days the girlfriend days okay abe mai approve at 3 months be event
boyfriend days yo ya no wa ke bu go ran to kwa bisia be no dey boys be special for chance here me nim baby a o de me fa ne ade a
Kwaku ye ma hwefo akwa ba na ye nshi omo. It's a beautiful week and yashana watching us we ask for Allah's intervention and any protection say nyame na ode ekutwa weekend na ye ba ye all smiles and say nyame na san fa ntwa week ni na ye week ni e wa asomdwuma ni giem ene enkan kom promotions ahodo bia no ene bibia o me yansanka owi a o nhire otisika na bo sika de amman kama asem yesika nyame ntu yesem sika mfanka ho odiam ya bi yeni nkomo now andra mathematically Nottingham Forest have cemented the ticket back into European football. As we speak now, say Nottingham Forest ever bought Champions League, or bought Europa League, and as a Conference League, that has not been determined yet. I got 2 matches near the season, so the 2 matches now can the better say Nottingham Forest ever run or Champions League, or run Europa League, and as a Conference League. But what it means is that Nottingham Forest are booking a ticket in terms of Europe. So the table on your screen are Ocean. Liverpool A lead automatically they are in the Champions League. Arsenal mathematically will play in the Champions League. Newcastle the third, Man City at the fourth, Chelsea fifth, Aston Villa sixth, team of friends at Nottingham Forest at the seventh. Now after say Newcastle United a draw in a match and draw, and I call for and come more any in same at the ABA. Now, and for you the next picture, production really so one of the greatest managers are Nottingham Forest Abakosemu Omanyom. Now, so would Nottingham Forest and Koma history culture say they are the only club we are here more major international trophies more than local trophies are Omaji. So Nottingham Forest as a club, we need Champions League. They're not friendly League Cup then time. And I said UEFA Cup then times. We're winning on 2 occasions, but when it comes to Premier League, they are wagi Andrew Sam, you know. Opening out that screen you saw, yes, and the former manager, those days, no year Juma, Edema Nottingham team, now a friend said Brian Clutch. No, any year Juma, and we need Champions League on 2 different occasions. He won it back to back for them in 1979 and then 1980. 4 club, a friend said Nottingham Forest. After said, oh yes, Juma, and make sure, say, Team Nottingham Forest, we need 2 European trophies. Fast forward, Papa no free or yen kwanya or fast so 83 musa unimumpa. He suffered from stomach cancer and or the 2 and everyone said at the age of 69 and opinion or that screen yanko ponton is a friend. After that, Nottingham Forest back and forth, omoko championship. No maba omoko no maba. Sometimes go mutime kwa etiko machi ekwa or no masia for ediaba. Now Nottingham Forest echo 23 years. Not Premier League football. Omunhubi. It took a new manager. Na Ghana former coach over here Madeko Afcon anu ya muso wanya de friend Chris Hutton. And no year for Nottingham Forest. Or boy a bedroom few baby. Ne more dey boy so any eja no kwan no. Ye the wine by Steve Cooper. ebe so mu say oye adwuma no e de ama club your friend say Nottingham Forest obo ne homode e make sure or the Nottingham Forest ebe qualify e de omaba Premier League so omaba Premier League no after 23 years na club dey hu Premier League football amasen aba be hu another Premier League footballer omo ebo omode bo e so ani it's been back and forth for them last season your ball season we Nottingham Forest a place 17th e kakra bi na nka team ne e call relegation now club wakọ championship move for and Frisiane Mako aduonu me 23 years awababaka all tries and modern boy ebe so ani no new owners aba be so team from 2017 omo air tries and yema bekoyi under the new owners no na club Nottingham Forest AC Premier League in 23 years omaba ani je guso a ekoso first season that was last season sorry o place 17th position so in the last season they signed as many as 17 players no penia or that screens go papa we uhu na e de na ba utirim Chama yani mfonyini that screen you see. So who na there about him? He is a great businessman. Football. Ne kon edose obeye football. We venture into football for a couple of years now. Olympiacos, before Olympiacos no. And then it is Olympiacos are winning Europa League. In terms of say can he be able to team? Who invest to a club, no club, no success. No pedi and mfonyini edda screen is one person on him side and now, Nottingham Forest team. The all year say fans of Nottingham Forest joy now na omunya emrebi otwem no. Obe try to recreate that memories. No, the amatima. Your friend said Nottingham Forest. I told you said last season they placed 17th on the league block. Auto players Marco 13 last season. Here we are. And the man could fan. Fast forward was assistant the coach in 2023. And open your friend said Steve Cooper. He Jan Quine said or buy any team they qualify by. And what they want are urban and said that ends so and Tiango Nuno Espirito Santo Mfanembra since December 2023 openina boy juma aboama Nottingham Forest modern bo so ni kweku so won for team oyam mid table club now the age nkobo club what finish 17th our league lock previous season say so about the next season ideally senka wo kan o place 10 for coach na ya dey o place even 15 for coach na ya dey this is not a club obeka say the financial models no or must spend it out of big players we're talking about club Callum Hobson-Odoi, Taiwo Awoyeni, Anthony Elanga, any other players we players say these are high profile materials as we coach near the Mawa also who achieve success in 1 year or 2 years. Yeah, who Mikel Arteta mumpa, yeah breaky bank and more big names. They're spending huge sums of money. Players worth 100 million. Yet omomo adebono ensada ensani kweku and the opinion friend said Nuno Espirito Santo will try everything within his means. He said Obesia return a club your friend said Nottingham Forest no back into European football now Omasiesi can European and say yeah boy European footballer either being Tuesday Wednesday and now Thursday no you who club your friend said Nottingham Forest Asia can and Radia in Asia Chama Mabo Ball no they felt saying commitment as our results no because of some Manchester City akobo match what draw to club friends Southampton inti saying Nottingham Forest win in the game na NK push on one better third position Nottingham Forest and Leicester on also call relegation able quick game na in the draw your poor match na Pechama and ATC Park now the video on your screen the production really Eddie Amaya where na kwa the talking point any controversies are who do na Eddie Abase Chama ya TSC Park or park so on tell the one say on the coach you be Eddie my coach is a club ya near bra ya person ya cover Champions League football team ya near bra ya qualify for Europe ya here matches and as a points our matches mu Eddie akwa anima this is one game as ya modern box so ania you bet ma qualify for Champions League football what if you about draw and what can have Eddie Chiri coach after this the backlash are above from England any all European tablet in United States chama ya nyade e kwan a wafa so a war react e de akere opinion friends ni Espirito Santo no ne modern bo anya the answer because we have budget ekuta Espirito Santo any adwuma a waye no now de ne compare Enzo Maresca budget ekuta no adwuma a waye won ne compare even Newcastle United adwuma ekuta and I say budget ekuta Newcastle Eddie Howe any adwuma a waye Ruben Amorim any the Manchester United Arsenal, Mikel Arteta, and the Arsenal team. No, now but when you could open your friends, Espirito Santo, Anka, why are there? I'll say, Chairman, appreciating the Juma. Why is it going forward? No, you was the investment, Kakrana, you've been able to qualify the team to European football. from 17th position the previous season, the next season, who plays even 7th and now see the team no Europa. Why are there? Oh, see a show kutupa na mouse can be eco market, eto quality players are team they compete. Now maybe the glory days are kutum in 70s, everybody early 80s no. Nottingham Forest able to many charming and yes, quickly. Who said backlash in the urban and wabab the statement. The statement, today is a day for celebration because after 30 years, Nottingham Forest is now guaranteed to be competing on the European stage once again. A promise I made our supporters when we achieved promotion. Chairman said, the supporters never said, or do we come back to European night because the clubs are Oko UK and also England are European night or Philly European night. Nottingham Forest supporters na account into a show mobile culture we said or non administration or bet try no the team na European night and draw results na cemented that position at the amount with 2 more games to go in the Premier League. We must keep believing and keep dreaming right to the final kick in the final game. We are extremely proud and close to Nuno and the team, and we must all celebrate the historic achievement of this season. And when I was saying, I was saying, Adiana we here and for elbow ekase unsem na and I say how we see Parks reacting and answer any. And also about want now render apology Edema coach they say how you reacted and in the man course on why you chairman explaining say supporters any players including one Kasane say frustrated because Omanchman and Sandra match no tie away ni akwa kunya injury any other frustrations no and the course so man react yes and I felt say ball na ye no Obiawo the position. Most at times, so who's a chairman as he park as well. Especially the advanced part of the world. Hey, one club now we need lorries. Abramovich mobile Chelsea. Did you for once see say Abramovich Chelsea match results and kui what Chelsea parking so? Oh, they be more reaction ye cry. Your dressing room. Yeah. See who several times Mauricio Pochettino time Chelsea only Chelsea honestly. Behind the scenes dressing room. And that's misunderstanding to me because Emma West and answer altercations to me because ultimately frustrations. But for you to go to pitch and so say your poor match and a chairman at TSC pitch and so on any coach no dear. That is the height of highly unprofessionalism. I felt say open friends evangelist I was say on one case only apologize to when your friend said Espirito Santo. Yes, on our friend Ejuma or yeah, but Oba and us and what they want in Sonia. I don't think so. And Kobejina or Ababi group maybe away. Other coaches are all for me because I'm what they will answer into any job. But as we speak now, baby, it's my friend is said Nottingham Forest one. I think he said chairman no AOB or appreciating your grandpa. He should have been appreciated the effort. Open your friends and Espirito Santo. And then the boys no I Ediama Club, your friends Nottingham Forest, wish them the best of luck and try to make sure say going into the transfer market. Some are here maybe obe pushy opinion. No one man is sika or marketer obe to compete for some of important players on bar ebit ma ba bo but the reaction no who he is since obe for a team. There are several times on the football association and no one can say fans impo etimi enya enema bi ana ense fatana think say watra baby no so gina afedi the free fans level aba be do on one coach so park so it is unacceptable. I wish he will own up, apologize in the right frame of mind now or making sure say or then the maximum support coach. Now the next 2 games are Nottingham Forest Oberbono. I understand perfectly say be a can my opinion the frustration that was because they have a game away to West Ham United and their last game against Nottingham Forest Papa Ninya and Kowawa Champions League. And but when the 2 games now going to West Ham United, the probability is the only team for 3 points. And then the last match against Chelsea on air competing for a spot in the Champions League football is going to be very difficult. So you understand the frustration. But say the Tronica say you want near man and the fact sometimes 2 matches not can end.
Corporate draw you or West Ham. Only chance who feel share not qualify now in Sha was
and if you are not Leicester why we didn't have a draw. That is why the Diabra OT news. We're moving from Nottingham Forest no. Like our team of the season no ABOU to you and there have been a lot of questions and Nema amount for ABOU. Now where team of the season after say season at your boy El France Urban Away Liga and penny for Cotton say Koto or Maba. To almost feel say these are the 11 players that almost deserve say yes select to almost say the year under review 11 players on what they were SO any or the French Ligue 1. Chevalier a goalkeeper on my fan. Now there are a lot of questions. Surprisingly, the 11 players now, ya select almost the league our team of the season. Kwemu 2 pe PSG. 9 out of the 11 able for Paris Saint-Germain. Goalkeeper no NCI can from PSG. And on no crown, there are a lot of question marks. Yes, when you fine season this season, but people fall say also a Juma Kiki Donnarumma elsewhere Edema Paris Saint-Germain team now or deserve ahead of Abrantia First Chevalier, but that notwithstanding or no end about the pool. Actually on a back phone in the PSG. Ashraf Hakimi, Nuno Mendes, William Pachu, Marquinhos. I don't think say yenya center backs be a season you know France or more than William Pachu and Marquinhos. In terms of the laterals, for Nuno Mendes, we hear in it mention the year under review another season I year home. He's done so well, not only France or Europa and more than what done for PSG our Champions League so Ashraf Hakimi in Finfino, Vitinha, Abrantia and Eddie Neves, and then Ryan Sharkey, Ababeshe in Finfino, and then anyone Dembele, Bakola, and then DIABY. Dual position and Uncle Fofo said he's done well for PSG, but we could deserve to be in the team of the season. And I agree with anybody over from that angle. 6 goals, 6 assists so far for Abrantia friend said DIABY. I think he said Olympic Marseille for Abrantia, your friend said Mason Greenwood deserve that slot ahead of Abrantia friend said DIABY. How? 19 goals, 4 assists for Abrantia and Mason Greenwood. Where and near my Mason Greenwood I go through on a life. Baby, the career and AC in the Chelsea could do or free or echo ball loan kakra Spain. And what they more and then Oba into Olympic Marseille. First season, what getting the season running. Not say be a ghost kicker and a wash an assist kicker and a wash. PSG air top table, why that second? Olympic Marseille team and that second. Go and check the goal involvement of Abrantia, the Eddie Mason Greenwood, the Juma Why season, and the Quanya Wafaso Abua position now, Olympic de Marseille, Adam Odoma Baby. Like I said, I feel say desire to be more than what else we need. But so always games, and the points are Mason Greenwood, are winning at the Olympic de Marseille team, and how important are why I affecting the team so positive that I think in my books, Abrantia and Eddie Mason Greenwood stand the chance to say they can also into the team of the season ahead of Abrantia and Eddie DIABY. But Kofono Mkotana table no echo to about 2 to the effort say you deserve to see it in the ABOU and Uncle Foka say your Casa France League in a Farmers League a month for say about league 20 teams about league, not 9 players from one team. And I will into first 11 of the league now and your Farmers League. It does not happen anywhere. Oh, Europe say about league. And Barcelona Ejila Liga.
So
like players of Barcelona and a complete team of the season. It tells you say all the quality players need one team.
La Liga CCI. So my boy, you know, my first 11 players, best 11.
Yeah.
Barcelona also win at 10.
No,
I
disagree. I disagree.
But remember the team that do play about Copenhagen.
Yes, so let's say best goalkeeper. La Liga anymore and confirm certainly.
And come Manchester because no chain or buy.
Correct. Inti.
La Liga my say ya.
9 out
say ya because La Liga apart from Chelsea na be in a fima. Jean Black be ba so check Barcelona team no nkora na adwuma na o ma ye na. Ani mo na bia Mbappe na ade be komba maka bia anya de. Why na ya de bi?
We could defensive unit. We have to look at the Atletico Madrid defenders no.
I say England dey kora mu yi best 11 on be bretu. Afi England.
Ubia said anya de ho bia sa.
England za afi omu yi best 11 on be brero.
Ubia said anya de. So I think say like I said in my books DIABY to be very honest it's done so well. I would say Bonabaso, but I prefer Abrantia and Mason Greenwood ahead of DIABY or Ousmane Dembele winning player of the season.
Yeah, first man
and he pushes him across a Ballon d'Or in Obekon. Say Manka Classico Nasama have been on fair to 4 times this season, 1 calendar year. Now Shea Madrid 4 consecutive times, scoring 16 goals. Madrid SC 7 per NDT. Hansi Flick 1 year contract extension. And you only want a person 1 year. And no best and until you 1 year. We have 5 years. Chairman Juana say, oh, January. La Liga table. Now Madrid early the Barcelona 8 points. Then we are in May. Just 3-4 months down the line. I got 3 matches. I'm a season. Barcelona for a rapid up season. 7 points league. I got 3 games near me. There is nothing Real Madrid every year or meeting catch up with Barcelona. And so all games, there hasn't been a single game. Barcelona has said Madrid because a game with here. Madrid any dominance no. And went to be and win it. They've been the better side, created the best of chances, scoring the most of goals, and Oma considered the least of goals. And they are 12 out of 12. Different competition, 2 year La Liga, Fakye Super Cup, the other one Copa del Rey. Omo proper position. I think that the Barcelona side deserve every praises and every commendation. I will say the M1 and manager in the Hansi Flick. Jumana or the Barcelona 1 year into a club now predecessor and essay players ne kuta ne end team compete for domestic competition. Or do man compete domestically? I win 3 trophies now. Domestic nina or call Europe crown. He played semi-finals, did not lose a game or regulation time before. Say, oh yeah, the all free mabafia. I think say manager friend say Hansi Flick. I idea else say yeah bonaba. So for Rafinha, any acquired friends say Lamine Yamal, the least said about them, we could do better. Every day they keep improving and trying to prove points. They say, look, give us the challenge. We are up to it. Now I'm catch your house at today. They say Obibaka say coach your friends Hansi Flick and the Barcelona team no mentally on be weaker. They can lose the game to Real Madrid, but I will not say intermatch no anya effect almost. Coming down to 10 things around when you think mentally and they may be affected almost psychologically almost walking it off at the Barcelona. Almost prove 2 goes down, no but 2 goes down, no but Barcelona yeah there. Congratulations to Barcelona for winning the La Liga.
Yendi nkomo kakra.
Boy juma sa dia ba diane nsem na mehwe so a ya ma me kra oba obedi protocol so and na man for ntiase but that is me. Saturday here na mtena mkacho was me ko tie aduane no man boys na to na me ma me ton kwankwan na me ko he no beto 7 na me ma 5 2 ni me lie I haven't me yes I some ye perfect job
that's all apart community
so tie se me timi ya adwuma no
apart community
pepe neze no me timi go ya no ni bado kan
ma apart do ele ye wo
but I know we be as it was an event and say jawum anopa boss right office na me kwa na mo tie boss and some say boss is happy man and when boss is a happy man it gives you the vim and zeal say oh it ye de obetimi ai na be bia nso ntimi ye kama akasa committee bet na se na aye run down na de work bia ye timi dia mamo committee ndo betrowa but empanifo kan ye final so the judi say so kotoa waso a we san atro basa me habib yensa me enko the high table
enwa anim zere ha site
me say
hano on pivot na no mo omo take decision
the make an ntimi asia na me say
omo fresh sector bia ai governor no wa be transfer ai decision and all the wasem to na chichi
na say to asumu a yesum tina me ka say ye ko bie mu a obesa akoto aba me say yemfa yenko high table
shape na the Bible by
and no na dey ayi buy but still na be say pia dey akọ oh me judi
dey na dey ayi
we all dey
obesa be try
Abu, over the weekend, Newcastle winning against Chelsea. And the Newcastle actually say, "Omoye a late team. They are not close to a late club because a late club, you need a lot of things. And then my friend will say, oh yeah, a late club. You need a squad depth, and the most important thing, you need infrastructures. You need a quality players, sponsorship, and a whole lot of things. And then I say, oh yeah, a late club." But our performance on the field of play, no matter who's ampa, we are a league team. And no more we are editing Chelsea, not just no quasemni, or we are a league team. And it's not even because they won against Chelsea, but all season with the kind of performance that they've given her, it makes you think that ampa they've really come to stay. And the way I normally see Kono, the more. They will qualify for the Champions League because of this win and the subsequent wins at the Basel. If they are able to qualify in the space of 3 years, what about Champions League net twice? Something that Chelsea in the last 2 years or more back. If you look at them this season, or home venue, the traditional big 6 clubs are England. They say they are the big 6 teams, you know. In all competitions, 8 times since we home grounds are, they've won 6 and drawn 2. Nobody was able to win against them. So if you look at them and the kind of performance or more than idea, they are trying to let people know that they've come to stay when it comes to competing for the Champions League spot and even winning trophies. For some games or my bar or my winning 6, about draw 2 and 20, this season in the Carabao Cup or one I say EFL Cup no no or many Arsenal any Arsenal home no or many man Arsenal and they won against a Liverpool team that was flying. A Liverpool team that we felt and a slot a year Juma and then they were going to win everything and every trophy available to team friend Liverpool. But Newcastle stopped in the final. So if you look at Newcastle for 1 year, and the kind of Champions League games or ball and then the competition level and also it makes you see that now they are closer and building a team that are elite. If you look at them in recent times, games are not pressure you will see say Omeluzi.
Yeah.
But in recent times, if you see them playing the Champions League, it's giving them that sort of a mentality. The big games are born over the season. And yet the big teams are almost sounding performance. I'm almost that mentality. When they are going to games, pressure games, there's a way or more down one, intimate way or more down. And the how I are there, and we need to commend him. And if you look at him now, here Jumana Oye now, when you come to the field of play, you also have to praise a branch of Bruno Gamaras because of what he's been able to do, being the captain. If you listen to him every single match after the game, now he's acting as a leader on the field of play, and Coach Bia will want to have such a person on the field of play and a captain. He said, sir, they've won the cup against Liverpool. But the kind of memories, the kind of atmosphere, the Champions League, they need to make sure that they are giving that back to almost supporters. And if they want to do that, they need to win against Team FN Chelsea. So almost 30 games, no matter a lot of videos on Chelsea, Chelsea games, almost 30 years. So they needed an early goal. And to know that early goal, and then a ball and so it will win match, and it tells you the kind of mentality and what Newcastle for now they are where they are. Since we got to a point in time, no more than 12 on the league log. As we speak, they are 3rd on the English Premier League log. It tells you their mentality and what they've come to understand. And that win they had against Liverpool, and every single day they are giving sounding performance. If you look at them, they will be playing the Champions League next season, and whatever memories are the Champions League brought last season, they are going to get again and give their fans for that reward and everything. Fans for the spirit, the support and everything. So gradually they are getting closer to a late team. They will get to a point where a consistent. They are playing the Champions League and they are giving their fans what they need and how it feels to play in Europe. And I think he's one man. Now I felt say a permanent term because looking at the investment, any players are available to him. Now me hear Juma Wine or Ben Mono. I was not seeing him to be able to come to terms with the pressure, spending big and wanting to be an elite club. So I thought saying a permanent, but for what he's been able to do, winning them a trophy for the first time in 70 years, giving them Champions League football in the space of 3 years, almost twice, me tell you, say, run a year, Juma. Oliver Trust, Newcastle fan will definitely ask for more. But what he's been able to do, even if he leaves tomorrow, what shown in good in Newcastle and so I think that he was appointed in 2021.
That was all 4 years.
If my memory serves me right.
The coach Bakwa didn't have a ship project as I watch.
Yes.
I'm almost shouting
but or near Union Shas here. Ateta. So near Ateta crashed at Tijan.
We cried there on the Amama Teta there. The Amama can't win here on like clubs are. There is a big, but now so almost spending. Nice canning hunting. I was away Saudi for never fair in his album. Typical example here, Chelsea. Or the Chelsea 2003 now Brownridge bought the Claudio Ranieri in the chassis. Or boss as you are not Pano Kofa UC. And all Man City or more the chassis time now. Omedi Robinho more Rolando Bianchi more on his players in the battle. The Omodiniship project now them one 3 years. And Okoba with them watch it.
Send Newcastle for no free. And what he's been able to give them, and I think a sound and money to me and Oba Juma said no one else will say, that man called Enzo Maresca naturally say decision making are sometimes a problem the man. Koku in no way the mean who obia you say in terms of coaching or ye elite or ye obia or ye part of a the big coaches or coaches I say they mean business, no, will be doing what sometimes no. Koku, you are playing a game against Newcastle. Newcastle for no ball something that like expansive football or more ball wins one more. You are playing a natural defensive midfielder. He's having a fine season. What we need player of the season. As right back, say Onyinveti. And because of the expansive football that Newcastle able to still, you had two naturally right full backs to bench. Malo Gusto and Rhys James or club captain. Not to bench. But he decided to say Kaisedo Nkonkobo right full back no. That's our two players nentina bench. Now Ombo has inverted right full back. But when he's in the midfield for Team FN Chelsea, he is able to mind the midfield so well that Enzo Fernandez get the opportunity, the liberation to spread the passes, move forward and make sure he's getting Chelsea the chance that they need. But sometimes me Jimmy Maresca me chada ntiase ayana onim the magnitude of the matches ayana oba na say it's something that he wants to try because just any match bia weekend midweek me nye short Chelsea match midweek into all rest players for them. This is a crucial game that you needed the win. Manchester City a draw. You had the opportunity to make sure solidify or spot in the Champions League. And look at the kind of lineup they call DIABY. Emma Hitimishi Chelsea. He comes back and tells Chelsea if you want to say, Omudi red card and a nunti or praising the players for their mentality. Chelsea lost 2-0 to Newcastle with a man down. Also praising the players for their mentality they exhibited. And I'm like, how? It is the Chelsea that we used to know. The Chelsea that made Manchester United more, Arsenal, Liverpool more, so the kind of mentality that or the Chelsea Jumano. If say Bekosi Yana one to us, the Chelsea fans should be ready to suffer more. Yes, they should be ready to suffer more. Because coach in the mentality say Nyama Chelsea form no, he's doing well to him. For a coach to tell you say in the last 2 years, much more Champions League nah. So for him fighting to play in the Champions League, achievement for Chelsea. But this is a team that in Western times has been able to win the UEFA Champions League twice.
But say it's a team no standard no. Maybe a twem no series city no. And then Tisabi.
Kwako.
Well maybe a twem na me minim say Chelsea na wo ho and Abramovich no. Eto akese de omo ba.
Sure.
And say years no ba be di no. Clearly utumu so obo the club na achieve. But to boli mo ba no. Omo moton kwada. What you say? So always standard no maybe twem no. Chelsea no say the city. Kwa guze na Tisabi. Di omo bo UCL a achievement more no why are they?
But I need achievement and farmer fans in team no. But the team, if you look at this Chelsea team that now, Enkwalani again, it's something I want to ask. Enkwalano again, Mark Guerra as a wano or more a inibida Premier League nibida
or Bubida
Levico or more bida
Bubida
Chaloba. He was part of the winning team under Thomas Tuchel.
Yeah.
Onimbo. Kaisedo Brighton. Yahundo ye.
Oh.
Robert Sanchez. He was no more Premier League nibi.
Yeah.
Oshe Enzo Fernandez. He is a World Cup winner from Benfica. He's played in the Premier League for some time. Lavia. Yes. Yehuno with Southampton. Look at Neto. Yehuno with who before Zoba Chelsea. Kopama.
Yeah.
The kind of performance he's had with Chelsea. Madioki. No man no appeared before he came here. These players are in to some extent. They are not Chelsea type of player that you say is a younger formula. But these guys, they've played in the Premier League for some time. When you get a coach with a mentality of winning titles, these players will perform more than the Enzo Maresca.
Offer we ni say one man lineup say no. Menya anko mumpe England no top 6 teams no. Na hwe bi a lineup na fa side team we. Fa comprom. Obonzo obe rate your goalkeepers ni na no. De me kasa wasa kra say me yet say mo bu
ne more from
Sanchez.
But a coach decision has a decision.
A cool decision.
A goalkeeper was in for a friend Pochettino.
Yeah.
He was sent on loan to Strasbourg. He was competing for the best goalkeeper in France. Petkovic or whoever. He was last in their goalkeeper. Obey Rodney Koy, Wakofa goalkeeper back from Villarreal. Omani Nabi. Is it me that makes sense or almost like Panam?
Because me no. The
problem is had the opportunity of buying the Real. They ended up buying Sanchez.
Yes.
Maybe to say, Man City crowd this season, who said die, I'm a current squad in here. Proud near there. So, we team we not compare Chelsea. We're happy.
So, over Manchester United team way, Man City team way, now they compare Chelsea. For the womb, he's had the experience. Kevin De Bruyne won't even question the experience. Maketi, we a player.
Maketi ball, Man City ball, course.
Okay. Chelsea players in Chelsea because of the place where Moses say Silva up there. Kovacic to about Chelsea leader Diaz Akanji money Sankofu now more. When Akanji was coming to Manchester City, people were asking, say, Pep the day. Akanji, he was an error-prone player. Pep Guardiola and Asesano. And this players, most of them, nobody who was for them before Pep Guardiola. That is what we are talking about. 10 players into monsters.
I don't know about Enzo.
What maybe? Arsenal team no. So when Arsenal line up the Tosomawa. And yet, Lewis Kelly Muna Bobo team no.
Kofu do masa yomu fizo.
That we Tottenham.
Oh yeah, give it.
Tottenham there young Congo. So what I say? And the team no so sad the mentality of the coach matters. Una kwam na ne. Ancelotti does we a married coach to Samri.
Oh, is there there is there. Ba share chikeke.
Frontino Perez assistant. And Chobeko retirement.
Not a respect no them.
That be Kwaku.
No, this is a coach. Club history no winning trophy chain coach.
Me say Enche Obeko retirement. Perez Beko retirement.
Respect no.
Kwaku from players he's been buying. Real Madrid and trying to play a contract deal. They going for players they want. They going for players they pay. They don't wait till play a contract before play and be back. The best player in their team now they waited till the contract before it was over. And it was a disrespect to team friend of Real Madrid. When now Mbappe, he was closer to no I signed the team friend of Paris Saint-Germain. It was disrespect to them. Okofana Balasawa, Alaba Lasawa, Alexander Arnold or Balasawa. Because of
your coach fault.
And I mean just say Frontino Perez back retirement with no matter because he was a man that he was for the big occasions. A coach won trophies, was in the morning affair. He was sacked. A coach set a team of Real Madrid, the most successful coach in terms of trophies, 15. Miguel Munez Junior 40 with Timasan, you did two perfect, you knew be any asem. But in the history of Real Madrid, coach a bar a year El Clasico, the money more work from Pano, they will talk to about Reverend Ancelotti. 4 times in a season against Barcelona, a team they were trying to find their feet last season. A true and true legend of the club says that this team can't compete. They bring in a coach that on something and I said, on you much about the Barcelona system. He comes in with the system, try to blend with the tiki-taka, and he is beating Real Madrid 4 times in a season. Not a single draw on a Carlo Ancelotti. And Perez to walk her now to say Brazil for Maneco. It tells you the state of Real Madrid room. And Ancelotti is so corner. Now, I am the first foreign manager to manage a Brazil national team among the state of Brazil football in his room. Minkasa Ancelotti asa. But they were better coach out there when Brazil, Brazil, or man kwa Montanga for be a mother. They used their own sons, the 2 and 2 sons of the Brazil minor. So for now, them to say we've gone to Italy. To bring in a coach, he said the Brazil national team is also on the descendancy. And then he said a sheer pa, Basadi a sheer kuni. Let me say, Obesambre or a NSC from World Cup. Argentina Besamba. No, because me, I believe the Ancelotti, it's a job done for him.
Go for each man and Pemon.
Kwaku, this man.
But about Brazil, the Ali, so be a baby.
He was assistant coach in 1994 World Cup.
Yeah.
Yes, 1994 World Cup. And I'm that's no TI or coach.
But he's doing very well. So I'm managing.
Who are they?
That's actually
well now.
Ancelotti, I think one has a man who's a wasa. But oya uze kwaku football o can't say mama can't do football maestro any abi. World football no maybe a twem na adane.
Sure.
Uze tete no. Na okoba bi ti say England. Even TV rights won sensem no. Any scan no teams ni bi wo bi change na nka ne esimla no copy player bo se Bournemouth akono wa coach akese check na wa fa player no. So Madrid strategy no mo ye na e beyond no mo. And figures no eba be lift a time Man United for coach years can be top Pogba. So now oko player no na pena. Oko animu na usu. Madrid zenya William Saliba o mo pe. But dia grass and beju be 2 in for a center back. Did the oya say ko check player no contract na. Na what TSC actually hey Arsenal na bo no ngi trophy. Twema contract ni ewu abebo. Who's that near mana 80 teams in the use super. But Fibia Madrid player free. Because or transfer no access no who's this time players in the one year didn't sadia or remano ku ada gule bi o ya akora bi a onimbo oba no afana ba on Vinicius bi onimbo oba no afana ba was akora no de ne ba obere no kakra bi esika no de turn akora me bona manage Champions League or the be the next 5 years no obetima san turn ayere what big go ko madu da nya akora nya ne be 90 million euros but enye esika no de yere eto so this time run akora say obi edidi na dwen ho obi edidi na dwen ene na ma teta ho hi no and also nti ene ma Madrid ene wo yesa wo lose in a big club na wo ye no oh but na season pe won mobobo last season no me European champions and now production team there na gusu dia ma last season Madrid uze kwaku last season no Madrid me Madrid ni but bia me no kasa me catch all only dey jam because season Barca be share sa after first game no Barca nkora na bobo na unso mu ye hungry so mu pe bia ni but we mo no apart from Mbappe, no, on the Champions League then and Bobo. This season is the worst season for Vinicius Junior. Now so a jabo. Now he's fighting fans or fans.
Yes, match no baka so mo hwe be na nya assist me no de akata so and bra so say class go into us
yes abi
o ha no de akata so
no na chiro a caliber of a top player
yeah
e say Kylian Mbappe Mbappe season we any good season but the be pichichi imagine say season na ye mana or Vinicius no am more but end of the rating no na 8 points and why so it tells you as a player no na man issue onya de kra na obofo no kra de otimi ye no he was a Madrid there but
mo to makora na meka ho makora no war river plate no Franco Mastantuano
Masonya de na ba chu I choose a boko we have a confacata fit player de lebre okay asamo AI play Mastantuano AI play is a good player
Mastantuano is a good player Franco Mastantuano good player
so okoko you share YouTuber obeto player bia
like o share omene boka na no
abi Mario Mastantuano bibri onyade abi okoro YouTuber maestro obeto player akra ba be fame
and obvious
we no any partner skills no mo kika bo YouTube ba bo na ka say yinsi
under 20 ball na the way you see bo chance
uni ana ja na ye wa ina de ayi kabraba gwi ye shara wuri ye be manage this ah enti ma so say bia bo kodo weekend
oh dia bi yango poda
o sister we
oh no hoye bia enyume betime yin afro
okay
na bi betime akoye kakaka
I'm in family 45 so all time
me
about 429
mate
family 45
mate Tibin say DIABY, I think says Xabi Alonso. I think last month, any last week, we didn't Hong Kong about the possibility to be to join Real Madrid Football Club. After said Carlo Ancelotti did 2 penny for him, says the season where we are, he wouldn't be able to extend the contract. And say he wouldn't be able to continue the job at Real Madrid Football Club until was say on free club no echo na ordinary baby or no betimi akosina kan ediama that said national team. But Xabi Alonso making it clear to Real Madrid Football Club, or management said if only. So no Xabi Alonso will come to Real Madrid Football Club. Obeba abeshe project nati during a new season now. Or no MFA Real Madrid Football Club emfa omunko during the Club World Cup or no ebitimi akwako coachy. But then he will want to start the new season with the Real Madrid Football Club as season the latter part in either September, August, and I say June. And no betimi for Real Madrid Football Club na ediomashe a new project na say Sinebea Madrid obesha say afresh and then he will try to make sure say obe signing a lot of players into the team. But then one particular player on Wankasa, a catcher Madrid from Pennyfor, said he will need him in the team, and then he will be one of his important players in Real Madrid Football Club team will be Adagole. That particular player now, Carlo Ancelotti, intimate in use in the year, enra the game against the side of FC Barcelona, make sure on the tactical board. Carlo Ancelotti and Faso in use Adagole, Xabi Alonso are catching penny from say Omunkipi Adagole, but the possibility so Omoni Rodrigo de Guez Casanas or better now only problem. But Untimi commanded the starting lineup for Real Madrid Football Club under Ono Xabi Alonso over the side of Real Madrid Football Club. So Orbano, he will need a new player so nobody to make beefy up the squad quality and the squad in depth of Real Madrid Football Club. In the next season, Ono Xabi Alonso being the coach of Real Madrid Football Club now, he can easily compete in any other competitions that Real Madrid Football Club will find itself a competing. But Xabi Alonso by the side of Real Madrid Football Club, there is the man called Carlo Ancelotti, and we been in the home common last week. Catch us said possibility that Carlo Ancelotti will go to the Saudi Arabia and very high because of say after Brazil national team didn't come on, that kind of conversation need to be breaking down. Emma Brazil national team, your man is for you, Jesus, at the number the side of Brazil national team. But that conversation is to break it down. And they really nano pay. The side of Carlo Ancelotti, so I reignited that particular DIABY to go to the side of the Brazilian national team and not side unit in my augmented for the side of Carlo Ancelotti. But Carlo Ancelotti called the side of Brazil national team. He will need his boy, his son, to be with him our Brazil national team. David Ancelotti and so Hodma on also share say the move na ne papa be call Brazil national team is either say on one can say be think fast about it. So no be papa your friend say Carlo Ancelotti e de na call Brazil national team. Akoye adwuma de man papa anase obeko to any other football club to be able to become independent on his own or no betimi aye on one can say adwuma. But David Ancelotti in common on some common Bama, Papa your friend says fabric and some come with me because it says Xabi Alonso by the side of Real Madrid Football Club. And common say Madrid, Madrid, Bayer Leverkusen would find his replacement. A replacement now, the side of Bayer Leverkusen be finding Xabi Alonso replacement now. Obutu too many more who say Papa your friend said David Ancelotti will be a fine replacement for the side of Xabi Alonso because Omo understand they said this boy is an Italian young coach Odidine Papa Anamonchi, and they believe say he is a modernist coach who understands that Catenaccio system, who understands the pragmatic approach when it comes to the tactical system in football, and Wasansu Suya mastermind the Pep Guardiola tactics kakra, the side of Jurgen Klopp pressing system kakra, and they believe say David Ancelotti with the last successive years away made in the Papetin and the Papetin successfully enough to win a lot of trophies with Real Madrid Football Club and any other football club or then Papa they believe say that experienced nature is at hand for the side of David Ancelotti who can come in and start the project for Como because Como is a good project or more said this season said Fabregas is doing very well, but Fabregas in some common acquire serious at the amount of one anymore because I say only Bayer Leverkusen for didn't come catch Bayer Leverkusen for say he can come to the side of Bayer Leverkusen, but he will need a lot of players or no better sign him just for him to compete with the side of Bayern Munich in the Bundesliga. Also being here a lot of players, and these players will be tactical players or no ebe use or Bayer Leverkusen currently as you speak that football club team so they will score a lot of goals for him and they can easily adjust to one only project and his system for Bayer Leverkusen. But Bayer Leverkusen for self Fabregas for in common. They are telling him say Sika or no epe say in the transfer market close to about 100 million euros or no Bayer Leverkusen almost spread it over the transfer market Bayer Leverkusen for catches Fabregas say they cannot use that 100 million euros to go into the transfer market and buy that deserved players now on non-air panel. So Amasa and Komono Etchenchehua, Sisi Ameno Bayer Leverkusen and Seth Fabregas or Mudin Komono because of the transfer money now Seth Fabregas it's my request on the transfer market now. Sam Komono so Honoma so that would be the decision. So Omutimiji Tuma Fabregas will actually replace Xabi Alonso Bayer Leverkusen next season to come, and then he will be the new head coach for Bayer Leverkusen. But Enra boss, this was the El Clasico game at Barcelona with the Spanish La Liga. Monjoek El Barcelona for whom. And then in the last season, Barcelona has been able to dominate when it comes to the El Clasico matches or meeting with Real Madrid Football Club, being in Supercopa España, Copa del Rey, and everywhere which share the side of FC Barcelona, meeting Real Madrid Football Club in the El Clasico. They've been able to dominate. So making sure this season only, Carlo Ancelotti has suffered in the hands of Hansi Flick, that kind of coach, now Okochi, Edema Barcelona, no, he has been able to dominate the side of Carlo Ancelotti in most of the moment of games waiting me finding himself with the side of Real Madrid Football Club. But Enra, this was the tactical lineup, the two football coaches, Eddie Tudja in the El Clasico. When you check out the tactical lineup of FC Barcelona and as a Real Madrid Football Club, you can get imagine say Frank Garcia Esha as a left fullback for the side of Real Madrid Football Club. Raul Asensio was the left centre back for the side of Real Madrid. Tchouameni became the right centre back, and Lucas Vazquez, who committed that particular blunder at that particular moment in March, he was also being placed as a right fullback for Real Madrid Football Club. But Federico Valverde was that particular main player. He was playing as a deep line as playmaker for the side of Real Madrid. Dani Ceballos was a traditional box-to-box midfielder for the side of Real Madrid Football. And Jude Bellingham was the orchestra being used as a positional number 10 for Real Madrid Football Club. But Arda Güler was being used as that particular main player, although in the right wing forward for the side of Real Madrid Football Club. Kylian Mbappe, Vinicius Junior as the two main attackers, no Muji anymore, at the Real Madrid Football. But for FC Barcelona, it was the same tactical method for the side of FC Barcelona, Hansi Flick, because of about the 4-4-2 and that's the 4-5-1 tactical system for Barcelona. But he tries to make sure Inigo Martinez, Pau Kubasi will be the two centre backs for the side of FC Barcelona. Gerard Martin will be that left fullback, and then Eric Garcia will become the right fullback for the side of FC Barcelona. But in Nimo Hono and I say in Finfi Hono, Dani Olmo usually drops deep just to make sure help the side of Pedri and Frankie de Jong in the midfield. Then you get Ferran Torres who only did attacking line for the side of FC Barcelona as a false number 9 for the side of FC Barcelona, and Rafinha Lamine Yamal on that particular wing side on making a lot of things for Barcelona. But this is it. Barca this season has been aggressive and they have been pressing a lot of football clubs. So Hansi Flick added that aggressiveness to me. So when they meet you on anywhere, they make sure they will press and make sure or make sense about more of aggressive tactical system. Not only about the tactical tiki-taka system, not only about the total dominance football by Hansi Flick, but then they try to make sure over here in the central midfield, they will try to be more aggressive, and also make sure to meet my press in that particular central midfield. But so what's a Real Madrid Football Club? Games in the recent days Madrid in FIFA, there is a particular problem for the side of Real Madrid Football Club because during the time of Toni Kroos, Casemiro, and the side of Luka Modric, you can easily imagine, Luka Modric was that kind of player. In FIFA, was a Madrid area, a lot of transitioner. He would try to trigger that press for Real Madrid Football Club, and then Casemiro will be that tackler or a lot of destructive efforts in the central midfield of Real Madrid Football Club. But who share the positional awareness and even the movement of Madrid in moving if you want to check out the 4 players giving Madrid a numerical advantage in that particular tactical midfield. You get the stationary position of Dani Ceballos, Arda Güler, and then Jude Bellingham and also Kylian Mbappe and Ejina Pedri Echino. This is the Mufaso it's me press. 4 players surrounding 2 players. But they are finding very difficult to press the 2 players on the central midfield for FC Barcelona. And it has become a problem for Real Madrid Football Club. A huge space in this particular central midfield in team. And then Barca will need a proper ball progressor to progress the ball into the central half of the side of Real Madrid Football Club. This is what I was talking about. Now, 4 players always looking into the ball for Frankie de Jong. It tells you, they were not able to press Frankie de Jong to get the ball. Frankie de Jong ball no bonus. So man availability of space he can easily progress the ball to the attacking third. But the Frankie de Jong getting the ball and Pedri making sure and make a lot of movement into the zone 14-yard box of Real Madrid Football Club. One can so posting half now we have 3 players so almost Frankie de Jong just for him to come with the ball. It tells you Madrid in FIFA they were a bit lazy. Almost situational awareness were very poor and they were not able to press aggressively to get the ball for Frankie de Jong and even Pedri in the central midfield. So I'm going to go into the next picture. This is it. Now, they have a total controller in the midfield for FC Barca. Frankie de Jong at the point will control the midfield for you, will try to make sure directional passes into the attacking third or no Pedri Betzman make a long pass into the attacking third. But sometimes you get Pedri, and as you get Pedri, who becomes sometimes a neutralizer, who becomes that breaking line passer of Barca or attacking third for Omwankasa. Now this is Frankie de Jong, and this is how I know first air transition. Flick who say the side of Real Madrid Football Club make a lot of transition to the right hand side. The moment or the other Güler about the right wing for it tells you Güler will try to trigger a lot of press. So Flick was very smart or making sure The central midfield and the central attackers will solely depend in the left-hand side of Madrid or Marcus opposing half. So check about Frankie de Jong and check about the number of players Barca are depicted in the left-hand side of Real Madrid Football Club in the zone 14 yard. Check about the number of players. About 5 solid players are depicted the numerical superiority in the zone 14 yard box of Real Madrid Football Club. It told you say they were doing it. Now, almost switching that attention to the left-hand side. Look at the hollow space Omeja in the right-hand side of Lamine Yamal. And Obient mean tackle the side of Lamine Yamal in that particular right-hand side. Now, the positional placement of Federico Valverde is very poor. He was being used as that particular auxiliary tackler to make sure so Lamine Yamal in frame. But baby Ojina Nankasana is not good because so free Honoma, there is Danny Olmo. He will try to come into this particular half space. Frank Garcia is just one. So Onufri that particular space, now it will be 2 versus 1 situation against Frank Garcia, and they can easily do the those stress to make sure to make him propagate a lot of passes into the central midfield, into the zone 14 of the side of Real Madrid Football or Mancasa boxing him. So it was tactically disciplined for Federico Valverde, but then the hollow space no one extra said they were giving free roll to Lamine Yamal to get the ball, make sure to make a lot of creativity into the attacking third of Madrid or Mancasa opposing half. But anyway, so Lamine Yamal a lot of 1 versus 1 situation. Now, this is Eric Garcia. He will try to come in. Federico Valverde age na hanum a onu debate the tackler for the side of Danny Olmo. He will try to come making sure say obey interpositional movement together with Lamine Yamal for Lamine Yamal to come into the central midfield and no Eric Garcia as an inverted midfielder, sometimes as an offensive winger just to support Lamine Yamal in the right wing forward of Barca or Mancasa opposing half. Now we don't call the next picture. This is it. So Carlo Ancelotti, after I'll share that first goal, he tried to make sure so we pull a lot of pressing trigger for the side of the defensive aspect of Barca or Mancasa opposing half. Barca able to trade back, but other goaler Mbappe will try to press. This is the movement of Vinicius Junior. The movement of Vinicius Junior is very poor. Junior was a closing gap, making sure that Eric Garcia and Paul Gubasi wouldn't get enough time to formulate the movement of passes into the central midfield of the side of Real Madrid Football Club. But the movement of Vinicius Junior said he's not ready to trigger the press over about Kylian Mbappe and other goalers in this particular movement. But I made sure Frankie de Jong, Pedri, creating the movement of those threats, that Diogo de position tactical football for the side of Hansi Flick in the central midfield of Barca or Mancasa the left-hand side. Look at the number of players. 6 players of FC Barcelona, making sure that they will actually corner the side of Real Madrid Football Club players. 3 players on the left-hand side of Real Madrid Football Club. So it tells us that they were making a lot of numerical superiority. Their transitional passes in the left-hand side of Madrid or Mancasa opposing half. But some more look at the movement of Danny Olmo. What in that change, Federico Valverde or no making the basic tackler of him into the central midfield. The moment the side of Pedri Benzema gets that long ball to the side of Danny Olmo, he will try to make sure to be Federico Valverde and about 8 players in the central midfield frame. This is the movement. Danny Olmo movement, he tried to make sure that these 3 or 4 players make him away from the central midfield. 3 players not anymore. They are not able to close that particular gap. So he will try to make progressive run from the central midfield to the zone 14 of the opponents. But this is it. Or making that progressive run, he was able to make sure say, me I'm making a lot of runs into the zone 14. But when that third goal in the Barca, it was very, very, very poor. Makacho said, Valverde also tackled Danny Olmo. He was not able to make sure the situational awareness of tackling Danny Olmo into the zone 14. He was not properly maintained in that particular position. Lamine Yamal, this time around, they needed to switch the ball to Lamine Yamal for him to create that moment in that particular equalizing goal now. The side of FC Barcelona. This is Eric Garcia. Frankie de Jong would try to make sure to make him pass the ball at the side of Lamine Yamal, and then he was able to convert this particular chance. Look at the number of space, look at the number of players, 4 players, but then they were not tactically disciplined to get the hell out of the side of Lamine Yamal in that particular right wing position of FC Barca. But boss, Enra Bono, this is the man. This is the man, Pedri. What do you call it? That tactical starts on last season. Last season, he made 4 goals and 5 assists. This season, he has made 4 goals and 5 assists also for the side of FC Barcelona in the midfield. It tells you, say, he is the man for the moment. Currently, as you speak, Frankie de Jong will be playing a lot of ball for the side of Hansi Flick in the midfield of FC Barcelona. But trust me, this boy is the new baller for the side of FC Barcelona.
Pedri.
Pedri.
Ojana now the John players in
He is a classical Tony Cruz currently as you speak. Yes. You get that who's a Basa a year lot of transitioner, he always direct the ball.
Ora chance na munyeda ya mrafi mama keka Messi sine kakra me na mo bra nana yebo Patrick wa joining nana J yebo on Facebook. I'm Junior Baby Jet watching live from the Wine Crow. I'm listening to the best sports show in Ghana. Your day Eramu enono Unai Sterling odieno manyane ha ba menkan Ashraf also the enemy ha Emmanuel Duku. Good evening, guys. I salute you guys for the hard work you guys are doing. Please tell me why Barcelona is not part of the Club World Cup. Please, thank you so much. And the Club World Cup now, bibi mwa chichi mama wa huze. And then she abi huze she no mo the last.
Who's that question? No, would you said that we were doing a diabolical question? Yeah, you know, no average. What's that?
Mate.
But so be I know I said that they know by the so.
Okay. Quality, the designer, quality GH. Please, Abib, don't forget last season Madrid won all 4 games against Barcelona. So please, it's not news, bro. Happy Mother's Day to my mother, Mame Ejapoma Georgina inside Abase, and my wife, Techiwa Patient. Ohema quality inside comfort room, a master quality fashion, the master quality me use biabokwa nyeme kwedema da bina grace there is an honest fan. Ashraf, please read team that's Abib support. I want to check. That be a Chelsea fan.
VC Warriors.
And a VC Warriors indeed. No. Awa Emmanuel. I say Abu. Let Abib use all his time to talk about the relegation teams game when there is a big match in Europe. El Clasico is there. Later ask for 1 minute to talk about the Clasico. Please don't give him any additional time. Mate. Alex Chelsea, you guys are doing a great job. Abu, you are live at Tafo. You're not so Ereben hashtag Fakye Sport no to us. So watch here on Francis. Nana Kisi. Good afternoon, Fakye Sport. I'm watching you live from Dansuman. And you had also a Timmy Eddie Eramu. Timari and Mbaye Sir BD. Watching live from Miaso Kwau and also Edeba Ebabi Ramu Ewa Hano Menche Medame Waba Bamen Kona Menhe Kakra and King Kain Ewa Yen WhatsApp line also na Yenko Yenim Azi Menhe Namini Wei and Fenfia. Good afternoon, the General Abu. This weekend has really been a bad one for investors. But still on God, I wish you and your pandit a blissful week and a good health. My regards to friend Seriam Gifty Patrick Yaya, Sir John Peter, Mama J, and everyone at El Shaddai from Pando Catalyst. Need your Ebabi Razi, please play me Barcelona anthem. Because we won their Clasico yesterday against Real Madrid 4-3. They are also a Bomodin Eddie Eram. Ashraf, good afternoon, Abu. Instead of Madrid to train ahead of El Clasico, they were using no energy to support Inter. Hala Madrid. No, Bomodin Eddie so. Hi, Abu. I'm Simon. Watch you live from Bope, Savannah region. Please add me to your WhatsApp group. Bomodina Yerwaka is loud and clear here at Takuma Health Center. Keep doing the good work and shout outs to a whole team from favorite Fakye TV viewer. Okay, Mike, aka Bob. Mike, Mijirize, Bibi Alboko there. I am watching live from Kentampo. But run all the way innocent from Kentampo and on also a Bomodin at Babi Rama. I don't know what's wrong with the Spanish referees. Why is it that Barcelona team? Why? Is it that Barcelona team own them? They are also everyone of Fakye Sport. You are the best among the rest. I'm Coach Adam from Uti region, Dambai, and on the Iran. Please, more update on FC Barcelona transfer 2025, 2026. And I read good afternoon, Fakye Sport. I'm watching live from Kwau and Saba. Is your boy Palmer? Keep up the good work. Best sport forever. Surely Chelsea will qualify for the Champions League next season. They also hi, I'm Bromsey and I'm listening to you from Swami Mekong. Please, why is that Justice for Pole is out of your show? Now, since we started the league, Justice for Pole is out of the country. Why? And then the Uru Mampin for Guswa. Omudu Jumanti or court on the update, International Abu. Good afternoon to you and your crew for giving us a superb sport always. Where is Luther King now? Kudos to FC Barcelona for giving us an emphatic performance yesterday. And greetings to Afrakuma FDA Nursing Training College at Samang. Rakuluta on Tiapo and Chobetenenka. Hi, Abu. Good afternoon. It's your boy, Churches. Watch you live from Sahui. Inside the Western North region. I need more update on Chelsea. I know you're not so good afternoon, Abu. We the Madrid fans should just admit that we cannot compete Barcelona this season. We should just come back again next season with a good team, better recruitment. Congratulations to our rival team Barcelona for their victory against us this season. Mount Dos Santos Junior is Agona or Sam Kroon prison camp, Hala Madrid in Adamas. The Obama editor so Mamma Monda, Mebape Nafi Abana Diakabia, Yatias Mufia Twaso, Edama, but still 89 minutes Egypt. Actually, 2 Amagana Ashawan, but ball no said the Niesia Bre, we reach Maticano. Tia then we are by a pet, there could be a better to say about. Ada yet me that meant the issue no to near discuss it. But on 20 no said me case to muguso or mobile. Say at least obenya equalizer Nancy giving a better travel konanima abuama nema kwere me 90 minutes na so ye 10 minutes na so ya boss ma no miensa but the pressure pass ya be ni ateka na ne ma de di peda baye enye ready no ze the NTNFA Cup 2024-2025 season the grand finale e be golden cakes ene krobia komase Asante Kotoko ene betimi edi akwa enu wema Golden Kings Chatran de Visa ebo me kamien sama mutimu akona Kotoko eso echi brekum Chelsea ebo me kaba kwa o mentimi ante match we munsem no bebrebe ne no na me course no na enya de keto akra ya de a na ase ha dwen ba de nyina mo no game na kwa etimi da pem tikwa ma me chance for future na me fanfi anko mi ya na ma chance wa ba yeren de MTN FA Cup ne kakra na no result ya record ya no minim ze yenya we ni wie no na ya wi under 20 no na afi ya wramu e ho so kakra brekum Chelsea any Krobia Kumasi Asante Kotoko game no Chelsea alusu Golden Kings to secure qualification to the grand finale so Kotoko e den a double no meje ana we de Golden Kings yo hunze ye kakra na
Koku the last time Mino MTN FA Cup no it was against Kumasi Asante Kotoko that was Nanya FC. So they shouldn't let any complacency set in. But I'm sure say we are going to go Bruno and see Africa whatever happens in this game on Beko Africa. ABOU this one because a Golden Kings do Monko. You go Golden Kings for GM FA Cup now they don't go to Africa. They don't have the money to go to Africa. To what I say, Omuni Sika or whenever Beko Africa say Omoko or Africa because you know how young teams have that capacity to go to Africa. So they will probably say, what about Tosumino? Say, what about Tosumino? Say, MON-FRI. And you know, there's a Kotoko Nancy ho. But maybe a more furious or more Timian in Ankolana J. No one say no me conti there and say, try to meet me. But any one's of more complacency set in. Tell the Mekana FC Assembly. They say omoye omunoma ye to make sure say they are winning it. Oma complacency set in pe e betimi the problem and so etimi dey abrew. So they need to make sure say omoye adwane so timi ho. But it was a game that nakotokofon here to make sure say omo win. On and off the field now they needed to make sure say no omo win. Off the field is for the IMC committee or whatever. IMC no they need to win this game. No more mabe for Kotoko, sika more spending no more matter to Kotoko no. They needed to get something no because this is what we got. And so they needed and then off the field no. And so hey players in what when you're Saki coach near the new coach bar, you need to make people know say no my be an was because of a coach that the titles and no be yadana enkoyim from my so now we are liberated and now we can go and make sure say yeah, get what we need to make sure say yes, we to meet qualify. And there's something that is good at the moment. And after a game, now omu edin komo and so hence man Albert Amwa edin komo na or say na omu mi enu or tre one kwan book no omo nto omo but this time around no omo to omo ase. It tells you how no way go. And if you look at Abrante friend Kwame Insu, the kind of performance he's been given under Orefeni Karim Zitwa, you could see say there's been some sort of Bedding be a free a show that's why he's performing wholeheartedly and doing so well for Team FN Kumatas and Kotoko. So it was a good win for them. And for Chelsea, they need to go and come back again. Kwaku, you know me. Nipa me penas and pan and me canas and movies. And that has been my style. I'm the TV. Coach, I found a Samuel body a coach me penas and because Ulimajuma. So our teams are all on Konkoye signings baby. Or two team no players are available. No are making sure say or getting the best out of them. Even if one Division 1, Division 2 players are, he'll be able to get you something. We saw what he did at Team friend across the folk. We saw what he did at Mediama numerous number of times. Or by the League, you know, and has something good and a BBSC now connected. So he came to House of Folk and he won. The most successful coach in the history of House of Folk. And no right friend and I said, oh yeah, your friend to be. So it tells you how good he is. But he needs to understand and accept when he loses. Sekotoko show. Now Koko Katre and Sekotoko anye bibi and chen go no share wa. The most important thing in football is scoring of goal. So that thing alone is something better than the way. So we bibi better and game and they 1-1 and probably a call penalties. But when Kotoko say go, now one team and she go, you can't say Sekotoko anye bi anfa chen. Kotoko did something better, and what Kotoko did was to score a goal, and it's the most important thing in football. So when you come out and say Kotoko anye bi anchen wa, meaning the opposite can was just accept Say you lost to a team that was better than our team. No, it's as simple as that. Simple, and you go your way. So coach Samuel Boadushi come to terms with Sanomano. Na on timi nyintum when Olusia no man ko ya on jintum na on timi to asonko. Then to the captain of Brekum Chelsea. Give it mami video no. Video na make an Ricardo mami sa video no. Se woka the most experienced players and defenders in your league, almost signing boy no mudidi ho a. Oh, ball 1, 2, 3. Untimi mo abra obeyi Zakaria Fuseni dia film. He's a fine footballer, a brother to me because whoever is your brother is directly my brother. And me pen something I make can say me dia kire no. After the game, me who say now there are a lot of things that echo so on a reference and all that. It's something I was asking myself, say, this is not the Zakaria Fuseni I used to know. Because in recent times, Mahuna say, Sanya money try to see money to me how many players need down. But this time around, it was only in our air fronty. And I was like, what is happening? So we did Ghana referees a chair one ball ube jabo. So a Ghana player. Now so ube di referees neti. Nyoma ye referees nye we Chrome and our footballer ube jabo on the ball. Regardless what happened on the field of play, even if I can inform man acquire to do whatever he wanted to do to the referee and can change his score line. But ebe how football and or career ebe how. So I was surprised he was doing that, and he is not someone now. Yes, I know man. So I was asking myself a whole lot of things. But looking at the things, so our coach you are, and as a bench you are, it was something from Samuel Boadu, and I guess and the things I know to me here, and it was something I was asking myself, say, what is this? So that means it was something that boy sent here from the bench, and he's your coach cry that we can also do, but this shouldn't be something from Zakaria Fuseni. He is too experienced and a good player to be getting involved in those things. If the Ghana Premier League is not helping him, he's a fine footballer, and anywhere he goes, when you biabo, no one ball because for me, to me, and how I see Zakaria Fuseni, he's probably wasting the talent in Ghana. For one footballer who is a very good footballer, who knows and understands the system that he's in, he shouldn't be doing those things.
I'm a Ghana for him, support by me a Ghana. Now, would they have asked so what take out? Would they have asked so much take out? In the small fair, yeah, credit go for see our boys in the brand.
You know, Zakaria should be more than that. He's one fine footballer. I hear system never be free, no, and I ain't kind of career. He's gone past a lot of defenders are more elite, so I don't expect that thing from him. Golden kick about show.
Also, I told Tony players in the my mind show.
The last time he didn't he want to win and go to Africa.
Also, I told Tony players.
You don't say you are. Let's start a match. Or see, they were 70% about golden kick.
As only none able to.
But then I hear from a Camian somewhat.
Also, I told the baby because the players are the opposite to be more common on it and not affected him. Why? Give me a point Ghana a question. Why you? Yeah, Kotoko knew it.
Kotoko. Say, over the weekend, since the culture is Kotoko, the kind of motivational players in England, they don't have any excuse to going into the FA Cup against Brekum Chelsea. I'm not saying it's a Brekum Chelsea motivate you, but then this is a football club in Pennyfoy and she the boys or football club name. We know Munyaya, definitely. The KME boss will give his motivational allowance to the boys. Menshia, then the motivational allowance will be given to the boys. And this tells you, say, when you are running the football club, it is not only based about the monthly salary and as the weekly budgeter or the Bema players. No. Sometimes you need to support and sometimes you need to motivate your players. Motivation, it could be served as either intrinsic motivation and also extrinsic motivation. Say the panel o can be no amana encouraging emotionally. Say on field no so on born no enfama the side of Kumasi Asante Kotoko. And this season, the kind of trauma, the kind of things that Kotoko players na afemuno, I think so one of the self-belief actor Kotoko football players no was the intrinsic type of motivation. This motivation by at the time Omonkasa die-hard fan. I mean, for some Sunday Manoko Tuno in Swatre. Uncle Yan from Kumasi Asante Kotoko Football Club. Bekawa said, Baby Kotoko Jina, they will need a big psychologist that obey my psychic cranny. Because when they go into any battle, Biana, omitting a clear conscience, good mentality, just to focus on meeting my born in the Kumasi Asante Kotoko. Or my pass that good psychological test now. Now the next thing should be the intrinsic motivation and the kind of motivation the team management and the people who are also close to the team and the boys and Asher boys didn't cry for this season competing the FA Cup and making sure that they will keep a close range to the GPL title. No? It tells you that Kotoko is up for the game and they are up for that particular basic task. So with Brekum Chelsea, Kotoko no not me can't in the set Kotoko going to Africa. The type of players now Kotoko Ewusisiano, say Kotoko echo into the finals. That's almost schedule the FA Cup now, Confederation Cup no, and yet no, and yet some players we in the ball. I know say they need to buy experienced players. They need to buy good players.
Oh, okay.
We saw a lot of management Omobaya and Nanaya Ponsa. He bought a lot of foreign players to the football club. And when they came, they played so well. Our performance on the man Kotoko Football Club, they a well-deserved performance. George Infake in the first season with Kotoko, he did well, but after second, third season, no, none in modern drop and near drop it. Stephen Mukwala Baye, no, he did very well. Itogan Bella, he did very well. Even this guy, that Brazilian guy, also Fabio Gama Baye, he was giving us good football. Good football.
I joined two never in the home here. So Vinicius, Carlos Vinicius, that I call a
Vinicius there. Vinicius, the team say, we no obeying a live for Ghana. Because Vinicius and Casano, the one man Anton Kumasi Asante Kotoko was indisciplined attitude and Vinicius.
Oh, okay.
He was not disciplined. And when you are playing for Kumasi Asante Kotoko, you need to be well disciplined and obey him about. So I believe that Kotoko will go to Africa. Definitely, Kotoko going to the finals of the FA Cup. No, they will win the FA Cup and go to Africa. But Omoko Africa, no, the players don't more currently as you speak. No, Kotoko need to buy a lot of foreign players. At least 5 foreign players who may beefy up the squad. No, can easily maintain the porosity nature of Kumasi Asante Kotoko. Because DIABY, Sawoko Africa, you need well experienced players. Kotoko experienced players kakra in terms of say about Africans, in terms of say omu compete with Ghana, and so omu in long years in Ghana football, omu a lot of players, but they will need additional 4 or 5 players in terms of going to Africa, because African football is quite different from when you are playing in a Ghana Premier League. And when you go into Africa, you need this kind of experience. They will match your squad in depth, and they can easily use Kotoko to compete in this particular Africa or Mukono. Kotoko is a big football club. Kotoko is successful enough in Africa. But currently, form na Kotoko one, any Edina Kotoko one, Kotoko Aba form, and going to Africa, they will need a lot of players. Ometimi Abua, Ama Bibietimi Akwe. But for Karim Zito, the season will end it. Na Karim Zito GFA Cup. Now they went to the Ghana Premier League, you know. That's what the Umudi second crampon na Kotoko should do what to extend the contract for Karim Zito. Yes. Kotoko in penny for no that confidence in Karim Zito. Some confidence no money on the Pamo prosperity over serious issues and their cause of Kumasi Asante Kotoko no. Se Karim Zito GFA Cup. That's a Karim Zito at the Kotoko when team and the GPL no. That's ultimately the Kotoko this second they should extend or more than Kasano.
I know Oba say technical director. Di Kotoko be fa coach for.
Say Kotoko in Komono Abako say Obuya main coach will come, and then on advanced technical director.
Yeah, no boss, we know be reach you my boss.
I want him as a coach.
You want Karim Zito as a coach.
And as a coach.
But and I should share that. That be all technical director.
So we go boys you know amount.
That's all who needs a coaches be more kasa. How only you involved. All the coaches be kasa say. after we no be wa take over no want na chiri
actually technical
coaches live be now kasakurumu a say technical director fa wo hweye ebisi wo team ya wa kra coach na ya so be o mo ye technical director ko fa coach be tina ne fie so o mo ye adwuma di kurumwa no sa na tie
ono say wo mo
we say to be for technical director o kurumwa no ye coach o sisi na o be fa say be ye adwuma hweye.
That is what I'm saying. Say to me,
come man to
us as a coach.
Mate, that's about more one. Yeah, Ghana. Abi, MTN FA Cup no mami na.
MTN FA Cup.
Share no mami.
Because of why I had the more. No one qualified to grand finale. That's the most important. That's the stand. Said another Africa. Kodoko have a ticket to Africa. Because Golden Kicks, unless we be free to Aseba, Golden Kicks Kodoko they don't have the muscles to go to Africa. Let me end that die. Matese so much time and I could do come over so they have what it takes to go to Africa. And yes, I'm going to go to Chrome Highlight. Or more bits my African in Dreams of Africa no ko en heart dreams not belong to Keto Krekon Common Africa. Africa no ko they went to Africa because dreams are kept their FA president no person him go as a member. Say FA president Timaje FA Cup or the slot to go to Africa. Or no anko. Or Bakwaya, the Amagani slot na increase no also menko. So I said, and not getting person. When you get the opportunity, you meet Keto Kreko in a confined room. That man dreams about Africa no team. Come back about it. Say, I am speaking on authority. Say, this jacket now didn't come African one or team more damn so only see one once in a game.
Or more mutim ko Africa no mo na film Golden Kicks almost so much
baby bet me akọ film
almost so much on beko
House of Folk bet me akọ hemfa Golden Kicks na the film Aduana bet me akọ we film Mediama bet me akọ we film James FC obesi esu akọ we film
every country
e ka ho pa na
every country bet me akọ
okay.
No, that we know okay. That's all. No, about Africa. Africa is a 3 times twice. Wait me.
Makana sama we free.
O come on.
So o person come into Makana. Teams na ka semi-finals no. Na ba akopɛ ɛna ne mu oduro bit ma akɔ Africa. Ɛna ba akɔ nso mu oduro kakra o yere no bit ma akɔ tu na no maka ne ntimi nkɔ. Golden Kicks na atwa no mu.
O Kansas as a Chelsea no bit ma akɔ Africa. O nye fair.
Until I'm saying,
Africa about money zone. And yeah, confidence is CAF champions who are Africa 3 times. I don't even say club no. Nipa no crack club this is. I'm over Gantoa. I want no. Obeti maye. Obenana kwanu nketia wono obeti maye. Obeti me da bi oze kakra. Kaso obeti me akọ. Golden Case ko obeti me akọ.
Now I say we the basics and Sanya kaso obeti me akọ. Some of your best players are crying. Also obeti me akọ.
Ghana for here the omushu.
Dabi.
To omushu pe no.
Okutu not Chelsea obeti me akọ but unfortunately Omo lose slot now.
Go to ka movie na
mu. I thought say game now you share and then watching the game the commentators kept on saying say ball na ye bon wa be berebere ayen fum so ba kwama ya hye no opponent ni timenti because na ehu ball a obi abo a e kire se obetima ya den ahye ne yonko na kotoko enya that goal. It was a calculated goal ball no call before some lobby by and then the header no. I blame the Chelsea defensive unit and the goalkeeper no. Honestly they were not up to task and the kotoko enya as go but you credit Karim Zito since Obaye so far 3 games we could lose back okra or say Biana Ufi and a couple draw on criteria how to folk and then an important game against Become Chelsea semi-final game was winning 2 wins in 3 games 1 draw and the draw also by away against the biggest opposition on Ghana High. I think it's it to aya there I will say yeah but na basona you hope say at the finals no kotoko every pija the modern bomuna wetimi lift the trophy in there so now they had a chance say on betimi agi 2 trophies as we speak now league in the chances no a bit minimal but ABOU with FA Cup finals no make one motivation ebe bana omo the Europe will be complete the league season games now I can but like we keep on saying they should never underestimate or underrate any opposition. FA Cup the slogan is ubia nyobia nti omo do finals keeps heads high fight so the last one
Bahasha kana ya honte
said
azi akura jesu
When you say yes,
Obi Abobo he has a teams a fear do how far can rate is on that.
11.
Now na mo man na 20 is o kakre. Abi ma me fan few also. I mean the Ghana na adene ya e kabat. Ya Rama drew there. We extra time near there. Each for ya mo hwehwe mo ma brepa Egypt for.
There's MON-FRI. I'm not so surprised that Ghana on in charge of a coach's education or a director or at his age. No a coach's education director will come myself or check coaches maybe had or pram clearly tells you the technical know-how a kuchano. He's a young boy who grew up in UK, London. Unim there's MON-FRI papa. Okay, 2 years ago, there was a black man, no catch Chelsea for no or baby at Chelsea for celebrating the year. One is to fair. That's MON-FRI papa.
Oh, okay.
So he was born and then grew up from Chelsea and Omoniema. He's learned a lot about football because of the opportunity now unyan and community. And since Oba Ghana, you can find the Ghana say, Ome coach the under 20. A lot of people were questioning say, Obi Ote UK fine, we see a born, but they won't be our born. And then special about him. In fact, your national team man. He came, he stepped on his authority, and then delivered for the under 20. The African games and all African games are we saw games and Ghana now I was this is a team a coach in Sano also. And although every year. We qualify or model maba became I see all a lot of issues and the surrounding tournaments now near Konasi. Some key players are or man say our setup no we be more or call up or man Myanmar any and near players need to crowd camp our match they needed to fly back to Omo club side and answer Masinyaba. 3 games in the group against defending champions Senegal. He won against Central African Republic and or draw back one against Tanzania. 7 points, ABOU ticket into the quarterfinal. Playing against the host nation, Egypt. We need this point to make sure that you qualify. And the Aquacupium, our Mundial, and the 20 Mundial, our Chile, later this year. Could be our share match here, you do command, who attest to the fact that we did not start well. Ghana started so poor. Your defensive unit, any goalkeeper, and let's say you're down 2 silly goals in about 20 minutes. Here, consider. One of the last time I said Ghana team be Bobo and they are saying to ability. And then see. But after seeing a conceded 2 goals, I was saying to myself, say, assembling or fair back candidate boys no dressing room, ever motivating Kwadana moment we say, yeah, boy against host nation, yeah, no fans baby be at Tayachi, or Monebo Mufi, but we have what it takes to qualify. I listened to him and upon a virus and stories are. Or ball or fair and come out with different Egypt for clearly you could see there is a man who have a fair idea of opponents now on any ball on Kweku or tip bench, so he went to his assistant coaches. No, I saw him doing in some way. I saw assistant and Yema went into the dressing room after 15 minutes. They're buying constant pressure and he didn't have fair is good. Then we fought till the 90th minute. Referee 10 was what? Then penalty Ediatka from second half. ABC extra time 8 minutes. Ghana has been the better side. I did not be so silly mistake here. Early stages, I consider 2 cheap goals are probably Bianca. Yeah, because I Ghana I think say the modern boys. Even if young qualified Krampo, I drove my heart for this MON-FRI with a Jumana wide. But I want to see you're under 20 in our Chile, and I have that strong belief in him. Qualified team. And nothing I qualify for a common man. Me say World Cup. With the fighting spirit, any human now but I have that strong belief in him. Say coming from 2 goals down, now level at the game na drew extra time. I believe Ghana have what it takes to make sure say you better advance past the Egyptian U20. Now you the away semi-finals. ABOU automatic sport. Chile later this year.
Maestro, Ghana you go so ball. Is all her ball now. You better win the game now. Ball now you better win. Or ball now you better no temper.
You better win it. But one say. I think say if you know it is Desmond and broke Accra.
Oh, I think
I say no makan wa mesan can be. Now na me know na you share Leicester omoko all African games. And we hear Leicester omoko wafu. And you hear Leicester omoko this tournament. Na the kind of changes in the kind of players a year from the players be your machine. Now still there's some of put these materials together. Now then Sano a year Juma players then so tells you say he is a top coach currently as you speak. Adia papa no I was saying na near Bonabaso and as I was saying na near Kamwas and near Bonabaso positively. This is not about negative issues. But then Uteki Desmond Fair as an individual person or coachy and at 20 now, you could easily imagine say he is a good coach and he is a brilliant coach. Brilliant coach. It wouldn't take you just about 2, 3, 4 months for you to blend players together, for you to blend teams together. It can take you just 3 days, 4 days for you to think about how our boys in the ball. And when you a lot of time on the players know 18-year training routine during and I say before the start of this particular campaign. But with available boys and more, even as to send your first game, that's not some of the players into the camp of the under 20 national team. But with the little materials now no more, we have been able, and I said this MON-FRI has been able to blend these particular players together, and they are thriving very well. Or check the group stage, the kind of points we have at the qualifier or they book against Egypt as a host nation. It tells you say he is doing very well. But then Ghana being it under 17, being it under 20, being it the national team. Whenever be a Ghana able against host nation, boss, Ghana is always that particular team. Obetimi are pulling a lot of threat to that said national and as to that said host nation. Yes, from under 17, when under 17 World Cup, during under 17 AFCON, say Ghana Ghana Black Stars in a proper tournament against host nation. Found in any instances, I'll say, or a host nation, it was say a put too much threat on the boys. I think, say, naturally, Ghanaian players, and I say Ghana football, and I say Ghanaian players don't boy a ball, with that kind of, that enthusiasm to stand against a lot of pressure, host nation, everywhere. We saw Ghana Black Stars when they were playing against Angola in 2010. They made a big statement by making sure in the quarter-final stage of the AFCON, the side of, the Angolans, but that go by Asamoah Gyan. During 2009, the AFCON tournament under 24 we saw Ghana Omoche Rwanda for they were able to beat Rwanda very well. Host nation that under 20 world AFCON they were able to beat them and making sure and even to the under 17. So you will have that kind of issue. So say Ghana Osha game near boy current and I said game near course now. That 2 goals near course no. The goalkeeper and the defender no more also that blunders To me, it was a pressure near also because I say game now we saw a lot of pressure na Egypt for no edema Ghana youth under 24 in the defensive structure. We saw that counter-attacking system and no coach in the air ball, swift counter-attacking. Some more transition you could easily some transition and yet that slow transition, but then a quick transition the Egyptian under 20 will give you. So that kind of pressure na Egypt for the Ghana and the that 2 goals, early goals in the buyer. But then as a player, it's a pressure about so you should know how you comport yourself. You should know how to stay disciplined within your lines, making sure that you be tactically disciplined between your space. Your force number 9, the opponent force number 9, and make a lot of runs over you intimately that goal. And I think it was a total mistake by the defender and even to the goalkeeper committed that 2 mistakes leading to that particular goals. Apart from that, we have seen Desmond MON-FRI trying to bring a lot of tactical variation in the game at the moment or making sure 2 goes down or coming back. Not remontada na team aye adwuma what kind of
remontada do Egypt.
Oh yes omo draw.
That's a very ne.
Omo betting car swerve dia can come be different wa. Yeah, swerve
I swerve come on be different.
Oh them swerve here. This is also more.
Alasani
Yo, there's MON-FRI to me, for me, in my opinion, is one good manager. Is one for the future.
Now, as a future coach,
now only coach you Kruma and I says, and I'm a return Baba. I can only say a book no they born on Saturday. But I'm saying Jumana Casa and what more from Kakra. But there's MON-FRI actually so many times. So a good coach. We may say
Ye bobo winner coach catcher was or cat tactics once him. You want Kanyamia dum, Yami boy in the Sanawana. I believe so much in the coach. Not because Yami ho, but Yakupon will be afa. What about your preparations, you will carry the day. And he's one person. He talks about tactics and nanopa. May ball voice, the Egypt captain, the way he was talking about the Egypt captain, you say how good he is and all that. You say, run your coach. And I mean, I have so much belief in him. Just that. A baseless and a useless to be sending the ball in and out. There is no point in it. In fact, so Jerry Fio or whoever, when he goes to the club now, on Kaho, then walk about. Is it that special player that you need to go a camp of a corner about as all in and out? Who I see that the under 20 years yet never? Needless just to settle scores because there are people and keep it more for man called Tiempo being comrades. They need to forgo that no more than so meeting here. But for the game that or more bonnet there, it's been a fine game. When Kaiten and have been can say Ghana, I see two, the national team had the two, no a team at take there be and Yadia Mekaibi. A Chelsea or more Bob Modi, and no more take any the kind of pressure on them Egypt phone. A one that Obeka said, you yes, March and Yamu what we are Ghana is Bobo because gateway everyone that youth level you be so much in Nigeria apart from ono say Morocco almost say be so much but apart from almost what be Ghana naturally see any good coach we have the talent boys near raw member that performance no if you depend say even yet trombo don't do that level to say blasters no my mature enough to play and no matter say but at this level what near more in the game na ebo mani age ho but we need to finish them off yes sure mo na yemi adwuma say dey see but adwuma dey ofe Bobby he is a young coach doing whatever the paymasters pay you can't fault him your national team no me say till say mette secret to kraku ka say line I saw collapse no onim inside ombim no then me nya say maker he is on tape to have said say all the lineup no someone he looks through so say you about say we just sad and I'm still believing say some lineup now with him it was a player in more than one challenge so in TB am for this channel and we don't find ko some as well as a part of it there then something that I want to and I'm not saying say influence no I'm not saying say influence because when I'm there to I want the best for your national teams no if make for as much ko and obentin kwa any influence o ko na wan timi an won ho modern when you come you address me in the many problem but apart from that no everything is on point the players they are playing what they can play and the coach is also doing what he can do and will be a support you say the maestro kind now we have no case what we want what we need is for the team to win and here the team you win opa for one team players obo in fact Ghana for but since time yeah you put just for Baba Kanasem your team want to for Baba Kanasem e ho na dey asem man but apart from no they are doing so well 2-0 Abetika
wo a wo yes tro na betimi aka player bia no betimi ba chirasem watch the wasi mo wo wi ya ba
be player be chirasem match them manya grounds they come asem that is what I'm talking about now say we have a lot of them in our DM. But what do you mean can want them to say because team need performing? But say team need performing, when assembly bomb no, we are a prophet of doom. But when we believe that Asuma Sibo is no way better than what the Asuma Sibo man. When assembly ban.
But also you see who cuts are no cancer in the end. Clearly no correct. Fabi Bino. Say be cover ya to confirm for player back 18 the cool Spain.
Ehun
na wasaba. Ne de ne ko.
Ehun na wasaba. Ehun ni faso.
Elo e ka na le.
Oze
e ka.
Now go here my guy.
Abi ya bara so yakọ o ma chi obi ara ara me ye nye wi na ko to aso na hwe we.
Ko ku me nchi ana de magana fo nyina.
Ma de wo fi yo.
E ma me fo mo ba e beta e chi. E fa mpa bonta e na under 20 na Chile ni de o se Kobe. E fa mpa bonta under 20 na Chile. 15 minutes na aka no. E fa nche Egypt for na qualify.
Ope you go tem frame Edman Majai. Ma resign. President Mario Guma Tajman Majai.
Oh, there you are.
Izama resign.
I've been chairman Biki Obi.
Izama resign.
They will come afford chairman Biki. Chairman Biki Obi.
I'll give you the review. Majai. Izama Mashu. Ope go taya bo bibi ato. Me nyi dwuma bi majai. Ope chi mai de be majai house ya de.
Dwuma yo bo so mu na
Majai. Minye bi majai. Ba so yako.
President.
That majai fair president. Majai. Ba so yako.
Na wajai o customer say ma wunya is over here.
Eh, ya customer bi ja, bi uni dia de majai. Opo be. Ya majai. Majai be trouble majai. Ba so yako.
There we go. Wamenchia we have Mama Kus Cranton, Wamenchia. I think say nyama bibiri koso de ebefa which our kwanso koso kwa nyame nka bibia obia
ati kwa we ko
yeah mama fo wani chemu ewo eye adum ene KJT aside wona menchia eye two things or no na ye call Manchester phones accessories as a Manchester tools he would
the red card.
There's a two things never actually to talk to me ma some me o be maso TV now when any baby girls no Dura mo elemo munna na he ya na me ji charge ni bro no ye o munna o be mo a mo he show no enso o ntin kese en confirm na fe Yusuf uko eye Franco Trading be Asanta station or na hona eye Yusuf for he's my paddy and then my mentor Yusuf he's a good guy and wow when you encounter with Yusuf be able to say guy is a good guy he's a genuine guy my mentor no so and ko e no biara o he wa sport you 20 dibia me support o ana be san chia wo ankasa won so why
okay so Ghana a red card on a good red card Eronesa
obi a so go final good red card be high
Eronesa aku the chairman no accept
okay
there one player I use for my team about
this kind of person so ko ba bi na so
oba bia enya mfa so papa bia mfi no so
you want you
hwe once the one
to pin watch
last beji
to pin watch
the guy too was smart no we na e tro mo ka ho
na no ankasa no use ball na wi but he was smart enough
have you got to aso ya ball chan dia ke be very ready
president
yeah president unu aso mpa dia fanfare
la bi mi ano mana so me e koso die ma unyai
ya me de go me se me jare
die ma unyai
wo ma me ba premium bo o chen be ba harofa 7 to 8 dia ke be ra to aso da wa ida mu nyina ase
This is sports.
Isn't it crazy how you can have all the success in the world and still feel alone?
You're not alone in feeling that way. Would you like me to throw you a party?